Hello, welcome to Simply Race for round 3 of the Simply Race British Championships, coming to you from Thruxton Park circuit. We had 2 Clio races this morning, and we've got 3 touring car races coming up for you back to back around this very fast and very exciting circuit. Alongside me, I've got Sean King. He's going to be commentating alongside me to give some insight from the driver's perspective into this championship. So what do you think is the most important thing about this circuit then, Sean?
It's all about speed at Thruxton, so getting out of the corners, getting a lot of speed through church and not lifting off too much is the best thing, and also staying in a slipstream if you're in a group. Losing the toe can be deadly in this race. And
we know that tyre wear could also be a big factor in this race around this very high-speed circuit, particularly on the front left.
Especially front left. Like I said, you want to keep the speed up, but if you keep it on too much and you keep your foot planted flat, those front-wheel drive cars are going to chew into them. I think we've got a Subaru in the pack today, a rear-wheel drive car. He might be looking towards the end of the race to make some moves. Yeah, he could have an advantage. We've also got a couple of wildcard drivers standing in for some of the regular drivers. We've got Jack Ashton driving the Cam Sport Ice car. Yeah, and, my car, yes.
Your car. And we've got Callum Cripps standing in for Will Dendy. So 2 very fast drivers who've competed in this championship before. And we're really interested to see how they're going to get on rerunning, probably expect quite near the front.
Yeah, we expect to be right near the front because they've got no weight. So obviously ballast in the car for Manley, and he went quite quick in practice at ISO. I won't give too much away. But no, he was very fast. But at the end of the day, I think Cripps and Ashton are on the pace. So
yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing some really close, exciting racing. Drivers are just going into qualifying now. So we will join qualifying and see what sort of lap times are being set. Okay, so as we said, the drivers have just set off for qualifying, so they'll be setting their first time laps shortly to decide the grid for race 1. Lewis Manley was very fast in the practice session we had just before this. He was fastest of all. And then I think we had Jack Ashton, one of the stand-in drivers, also putting in some very fast times. So it's going to be really interesting to see this mixture of these wildcard drivers who have got some experience of this circuit and this championship, albeit not in these exact cars, to see how far up the order they can go and if they can really get amongst the championship leaders. So we've got Matt Richards leading the championship from Lewis Manley at the moment, so they'll be running the highest level of success ballast for the first race.
Yeah, so it should be a hard race then with this speed going in. I would also like to say that Davies, who's a replacement driver for Ben Winter in the Subaru, has just turned up now, and he's going to do basically practice and qualifying in one go. Hopefully it goes well for him. Yeah, so he's going to have not much time to get up to speed to learn this circuit and understand how the tyres are working, and at the same time he's got to try and put in a real fast lap to get himself as high up the grid as possible. So here we're just watching in the yellow El Bandito car. That is actually Callum Cripps standing in for Will Dendy for this round. So although it says Dendy on the side, that is actually Callum Cripps, a very experienced, well-known fast driver. Had quite a bit of success at Simply Racing and other championships, and certainly in the SRTCC in years gone by. So we're really looking forward to seeing how well he goes. And the other standing driver will be Jack Ashton, who's running just in front of Cripps there. You can see in the grey, white, with the blue flashes on the Cam Sport Ice car. That's a lovely car, that, isn't it? I must admit.
A very nice livery indeed, yes. So he'll be another one to watch out for.
I think definitely so. I think some of the back markers, I say back markers, the grid is really tight all the way down, so you can't really count anyone out. Even Ben Brown, he's going to be up there. Richardson's going to be up there as well. I raced with them on Friday night, and they're both extremely quick around this track, so it's going to be action all the way out
Yeah, definitely. We've got a really strong field of drivers. There aren't really any slow drivers as such. There's just some faster than others. And that does mean the times tend to be very tight. And if you don't get a lap together in this qualifying session, you could find yourself quite a long way down the grid.
Yeah, and I suppose in this track, it doesn't make too much of a difference around the first couple of laps, although it makes it extremely tight going through the first section of corners. As I just saw in the Clios this morning, it can all come to a head very quickly. So track position at the start, if you can get a good qualifying lap and get away with the front group, it's going to be a close race throughout.
So we've got a fastest lap here from Jack Ashton, who's done a 1:14.0 on his first flying lap, and Callum Cripp's second fastest so far. So immediately these standing drivers are straight on the pace.
We did expect this from these drivers. Obviously, Manley hasn't set a lap yet. We'll see how he does with all his weight in his car, to be honest. But he was very quick in practice, and I expect him to be up there as well. Yeah,
so Manley will be running 66 kilos of success ballast by virtue of his second place in the championship. So that's going to really... It should be a bit of a hindrance for him for this qualifying for the first race. But as we've seen before, Manley's very good at coping with the weight.
Extremely good at coping with the weight. Sometimes it looks like it's not even there with him. Same with Matt Richards. He's carrying 75 kilograms, and we'll see how he does, because I didn't see him testing with soft tyres in practice. He only used mediums.
Of course, the success ballast can also really change the balance of the car as much as it slows you down just purely because of the weight. So do you think that will be a problem for the drivers who've got that large amount of ballast on?
Considering Thruxton isn't really a track with too many twists and turns, it shouldn't upset them too much, but the first couple of corners, which are quite tight when you're doing basically a right, left, right, may affect it a little bit if you're trying to keep the momentum going through the corners. Weight actually helps with momentum, but sometimes in the wrong direction.
Yeah, so I think you're right. The first lap or so with cold rear tyres on the front-wheel drive cars be particularly difficult through that complex, the Campbell-Cobb-Seagrave complex at the start of the lap. Getting through there on the first lap is going to be very important. So we can see that Ben Brown's putting a good lap there. Look, second place at the moment, only a tenth and a half off Jack Ashton's time.
Well, all the laps are starting to come in now. Handover as well, only a couple of tenths down. Well, Harold goes top with 13.5.
13.5, very good time indeed. We saw the fastest lap of all in practice was Lewis Manley with a 14.4, I think it was.
I think it was a 14.4 for him. He ended up doing a 13.5.
So 13.4 it was, yes. So Harold's lap, that's a good lap.
Extremely good lap.
Here we're watching Harold on the screen in the Pink Panther racing car. And we're being told that we think Harold got a very good toe off Lewis Manley on that lap. You can see Manley just in front of him there.
And obviously Manley with all that weight still managed to put it into second. Only not even a tenth behind him. That's impressive.
So if you can hook up and get a good toe from the car in front around the back of this, around the back of the circuit here, I guess that you can pick up quite a bit of lap time there.
Oh, you can pick up a really good lap time. Like we saw in the Clios earlier, you close down so fast on the car in front of you. It's just whether you can get it stopped for the chicane and get it nicely through there.
Yeah, so the times are pretty much all the drivers have set a time, apart from, we haven't got a time from Richards yet, actually. Matt Richards, our championship leader.
Ooh, contact there on the way into the pit lane.
Here's a replay of, this is Manguera in the Mercedes A-Class, running a bit wide out of the chicane. Clips the barrier. And you don't want to park sideways on the pit straight.
But luckily he didn't reverse it into the barrier as well. That's one good thing.
So Manguera then running at the moment 11th.
Is this Richards on the back?
Yeah, this is Matt Richards in the black and red MG, getting a bit of a tow from the Subaru in front.
See what sort of lap time he comes out with at the end, although it looked like he backed out there.
Yeah, I think he's preparing now for maybe a fast lap, or he might pit. We'll see what he does here. He obviously doesn't want to be that close to the back of the Subaru. That's Davies, isn't it, in the Subaru?
Yeah, you will see a lot of jumping into the pits in this session because the softs will only last a couple of laps around Thruxton. You are really working them hard to get that lap time.
Here he goes then, Richards, onto a flying lap by the looks of it here. Let's see what sort of lap time he can put together. So here we come up to the complex. This is the Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave complex. So right-hander here.
Ooh, a bit too much apex maybe.
Into the left. And then it's all about getting a good run out of this right-hander onto the straight that follows it.
There's barely even a lift round here. It's almost flat out all the way along it. If you get a lovely line, you'll get nice pace all the way through it.
Flat through this left-hander, you think, Sean?
Flat for me. I've done it flat before. The next corner right, you can almost get this flat as well if you get it right. It can end up on the grass, though, and that's not a good place to be.
Just got to get the line spot on, I guess,
like that. That was a perfect line through there, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't know if he lifted, but It was nice.
He ran right up to the edge of the grass, which is perfect using all the road, but because you're still turning right there, if you do get a wheel on the grass, you are in trouble.
Yes, extreme, a lot of trouble. Although we'll see how this lap does without a slipstream. It was nice to compare to see what he gets. Ooh, heavy braking down there, bit of correction.
Yep, fairly neat and tidy. Let's see what he can put on the board as he crosses the start-finish line. And he goes 4th.
That's not a bad lap time at all, especially if you're a few little areas we actually spotted in the lap where he hit the apex a bit too heavily.
Yeah, so 4th place. Remember, he is carrying 75 kilos of ballast, so I think he'll be fairly pleased to be up there with some of the fastest times.
Yeah, that's where you want to be, out of all the traffic, so you're not got any chance of as many collisions.
Here is Jack Ashton driving your car.
Ooh, very lovely car indeed. So is he. I must have actually admit that Talbot is also in this championship with red-coloured car, and Wilson very similar with dark blue in plates. Ashton's doing some quick lap times, considering he hasn't really practiced until today.
Yeah, he's just gone 3rd.
Impressive. I must admit, the Astra Torque steers like crazy when you're going through corners, so it's a bit of a workout on you, to be honest, in these races. And we've got 3 races today. I'm sure their arms are going to be hurting by the end of it.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I mean, the speeds are so high around a lot of this Thruxton circuit that, yeah, it's a real workout for the drivers just to keep the car on line through the fast corners.
Here's Ben Brown then, as he comes out the last corner. See what sort of lap time he does. He improves.
3rd.
A very impressive time.
So 13.669 for Ben Brown.
Very good lap from Ben Brown indeed. In fact, he's carrying 33 kilograms of ballast as well, so he's not exactly ballast free. So
yeah, so that's pretty good. Ben Brown, one of the drivers who's also competing in the Clio Championship that happened this morning. So at least he's got his head into the circuit, although it's quite a different circuit in these much faster touring cars.
In these cars, it's so much more different. Getting the entry to the corner is a lot more important than you think. Clio's is braking much, much later. It's about, I keep mentioning it all through the day, momentum. People are going to be saying it's momentum Sean soon, but you'd have to keep it up on this track. It's all about the pace, and he must have got a really clean lap to get that done.
Here is Ben Willis in the black and red Astra. We've got a replay here of handover going through the chicane, getting very out of shape and hitting the wall.
Oh dear. It wasn't as bad as Dynton. He went over the fence at Dynton.
Oh, Manguera's off as well again on the grass there, just swerving round handover. So handover at the moment 7th, just pushing for that extra bit of lap time. And
get him out of the way in practice. Don't do it in the race. That's what they say. So
yeah, so this session just all about absolutely the fastest flying lap you can produce. Here's Ben Willis coming through the chicane.
Strangely, we haven't had any movement at the top 2 places for a while yet either. So
no,
Harold and Manley's still up there with those lap times, 13.5 and 13.626.
Yeah, that lap from Harold set quite early in the session.
Yeah, with the slipstream from Manley. So Manley must have thought he got pole nailed until Harold came in behind to steal his thunder.
But look how tight it is already. I mean, we've got sort of 2 tenths covering the top 5.
Yeah, and it's not even a second, covering all the way down to, I think it's basically 9th place, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, even Willis in 11th is only just over a second off. Yeah, and he's 11th.
It just shows how tight this championship really is. And when you're racing with people side by side, you would think it would be mayhem most of the time, but they tend to keep it quite nice and clean.
So here's Manley.
New livery for this round. It's slightly changed, slightly tweaked. It looks very nice. I think you'll agree.
We can see here that once again Harold is lined himself up just a bit behind Manley here. So almost as if he's trying the same tactic, maybe.
He's going to have to push to try and catch back up with him, though, I think. Yeah,
a bit far back, and yeah, it's not going to be easy to catch Manley from that far back.
I think Lewis is wise to it this time round and thought that guy was there last time.
So, Manley, I think you'll be fairly pleased so far. 2nd place with that success ballast on. So Manley, then Ashton 3rd, Ben Brown 4th, Callum Cripps is 5th at the moment, and Matt Richards, our championship leader, only down in 6th at the moment. So and a little way off, sort of 4 tenths off the provisional pole time at the moment.
It may be damaged imitation with all this weight on for this round. He slowed up so much. Right,
we're hearing from race control that the top 6 times have all been removed by race control for cutting the chicane. So effectively, the order is nothing like what it looks on the tower there. It's actually Curry effectively now in provisional pole position until all those top 6 drivers can go around again and do a lap where they have not cut the chicane.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to see that on our grid until the end of the actual session, but we will let you know as soon as we possibly can about who did come pole.
So at this circuit, cutting the chicane, you can gain a huge amount of lap time if you cut the first part of it.
I mean, even cutting it slightly will give you a couple of attempts. If you cut quite a bit of it, you could even gain a second through that last corner. I mean, it's a bit loose on it because it used to be the same in the actual championship. You could cut across the last corner. I don't know if you've seen this year, but they put some rather large tyres on the last corner to stop them doing it.
Yeah,
so we're doing the same ourselves here.
They moved the tyres. So that's where, very out of shape there, Manley through the chicane. That first part of the chicane is where they are being penalised for cutting and putting all 4 wheels off the circuit. So we will have to keep an eye on that. I mean, race control have got a very big job on their hands there to keep an eye on that chicane every lap, particularly during the race. And if the drivers cut 3 times, they will get a drive-through penalty. So they'll have 2 warnings, and then the 3rd time, that's a drive-through penalty for cutting the chicane. So
and it was mentioned in the briefing. They have got no qualms about it. It is literally a no comeback situation. You do it 3 times, you're in. You will be warned. 3 strike rule. That's it. You're going through for a penalty.
So we've come to the end of the qualifying session there. We will try to get you the grid order just as soon as we can, as we watch a replay of Mangueira getting those 2 wheels on the grass and spinning around the back of the circuit there. He's had a bit of an up and down session in qualifying. So we will be back shortly for race 1. Welcome back then to Simply Race and Thruxton for the first touring car race of the day. We've just had a rather disrupted qualifying session due to several drivers cutting the chicane. So we have a revised grid order, which you can see on the top left of the screen there. That is the grid. So Harold did have a lap disallowed, but his second fastest lap, which was acceptable, was still the fastest. So he will start from pole position in the Pink Panther racing car. Matt Richards, our championship leader, will start alongside him on the front row. Callum Cripps, standing in for Will Dendy in the El Bandito yellow MG, will start third. Jack Ashton, standing in for Sean King in the Cam Sport Ice car, will start from fourth position. Lewis Manley is fifth. There we can see him on screen there in the red and white MG. John Curry will start sixth. Ben Brown in seventh. Daniel Handover eighth. Chris Wilson ninth. Colin Talbot 10th. Ben Willis 11th. Daniel Hyde is 12th. Will Richardson 13th. Ollie Davies is 14th. And Edson Manguera will start 15th. So a bit of a change in the order from what we thought the grid was going to be, but we've still got the main championship contenders up there, Manley and Richards, and then these the two wildcard drivers, Cripps and Ashton, also in the top five. Yeah,
it was actually interesting. I was there as we were looking through the laps, and Harold did lose it, but he's the only one to go sub 114 with 113.9. And Manley, the biggest loser there, losing from his first place down to fifth.
Yeah, so Manley starting fifth behind his main championship rival Richards, who will start second. So Manley will be looking to really try and overturn that, and he'll be constantly trying to get in front of Richards. So he probably won't be too worried, I think, about Cripps and Ashton, because they're not really championship contenders.
Well, he won't be worried about them, but he'll definitely have to fight with them. They're not exactly easy guys to get past, are they?
They are definitely going to be in his way, and they're going to be a big factor in this race. So we've got a tremendously high standard of driver on this grid. Everybody quick, several drivers capable of winning this race, so it can be very exciting to see what happens.
Extremely exciting. I mean, you could pick most people out of the top 10 to win a race, really, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. So Harold then trying to warm his brakes and his tyres up a little bit as he moves up into pole position. Alongside him, Matt Richards in the black, white and red MG, with Cripps and Ashton on the second row. Cripps in the bright yellow MG, Ashton in the Cam Sport Ice, white, grey and blue Vauxhall Astra, and then Manley in the red and white MG in fifth. So it looks like we're all in position, waiting for the lights. They're away, and it looks like a fairly even start from the front row. Both quite good start. Harold maintains his lead. It's fairly 2x2 behind. There's some pushing and shoving. I think in the middle somebody's off. It's the Subaru of Davies.
Relatively clean, to be honest with you.
Yeah, look at Cripps is thinking about having a look at the inside. Richards is left the door slightly open, but he should have the inside for this next left. So we've got Harold. Cripps looks like he's going to get past Richards here. Cripps is into second place. Cripps, Richards, then Ashton, then Manley.
Already got a slight break from this front group of four. Manley's going to have to try and hurry to catch back onto them.
Bit of a gap, yeah, between Jack Ashton and Lewis Manley already opening up. These front four absolutely together. Cripps is looking like he's putting a lot of pressure on Harold already, and Richards swarming around with Jack Ashton as well right behind him. And Cripps is going alongside. He's trying to get alongside Harold as they go into Church Corner. He's going at the inside.
Could have 3 or 4 abreast going to the last chicane. That's not good, lads.
Ashton is out on the grass, slightly coming out of Church. And look at the slipstream effect down here.
Manley's right with him now as well.
Manley's caught this group, yes. And Cripps leads, Richards, and then Harold trying to hang on the outside here. But Cripps is first through the chicane, then Richards, then Harold, then Ashton, then Manley as they complete lap one.
All a bit messy at the back there. Wilson got quite wide in the small picture-in-picture, and they all clumped together in the last chicane towards the back of the grid. All got through cleanly though.
Yeah, fast racing here at Thruxton, and it's Callum Cripps who has the lead from Richards, and here goes Harold. He's having a look at the inside of Richards into the complex. He's got alongside, but Richards should hold it. Ashton has now got through on Harold. He's trying to pass him.
Harold's got the inside line. Oh, has to back out of it. That's a great move from Ashton there.
Yeah, Ashton, and now Ashton's got a tremendous run on Richards as they head out onto the faster part of the circuit. So Ashton now should have the inside, but Richards just gets across the front of him.
Manley looking to attack in the background with Harold as well.
Yeah, Manley's battling hard with Harold. He's got the inside there.
Oh, there's a slight bit of contact there between, I think that's Talbot and Richardson.
Talbot, Richards and have gone across the grass. You can see in the corner of your screen there. And Cripps is getting away a little bit. Harold's on the grass, and then we've got John Curry putting pressure on Lewis Manley as well in the other Pink Panther Racing Astra.
Callum Cripps is loving this. He's getting away at the front. Of course, without that extra weight, he's got a bit more speed in that car than Richards.
Yeah, so Richards is running the maximum 6X ballast of 75 kilos. Lewis Manley is also running 66 kilos of ballast. So those two championship contenders will be suffering a bit from that. Jack Ashton, another one of our wildcard drivers with no ballast, is putting really a huge amount of pressure on Richards here as he sees Cripps getting away in the lead.
And Harold in fourth, also with some ballast of 48 kilograms. Not as much as the others, but still enough to slow you down. Oh, this is tight.
Yeah, so Richards looks like he is holding Ashton up slightly. And Ashton will know that if he spends too much time behind Richards, then Cripps could get away and build a lead in this race.
He's got to play the smart game here. He's got a bit of a gap behind him now to Harold. If he attacks down the straight, he should get past him due to the less weight and the slipstream pulling him forwards. It should be a nice, clean pass, nice and easy.
Yeah, we shall see if Ashton can do that as they head round the back of the circuit up to Church Corner and then down to the chicane where all the action generally takes place on this circuit through Church.
Keep an eye in the background, your picture as well, with Manley trying to make moves on Harold.
Ashton's got a good run, I think. He's pulled to the left-hand side. Can he get around Richards before the braking zone, or can he outbrake him?
Ooh, almost the same time braking there.
Both brake very late indeed. Richards did well. He's held the inside. He braked late. Ashton, though, is very wide. He's on the grass on the pit straight. He's clipped one of the advertising hoardings. Not slowed him down too much.
No, not too much. We've got a lovely picture at the bottom of our corner thanks to our cameraman. That's his on board with Lewis Manley, looking from his point of view. Yeah,
so that's Manley following Harold. You can see exactly how the gap is changing. He's just made slight contact with the back of Harold.
Does well to stop any major contact there. That's some great braking there.
Just letting him know he's there, just a little tap.
He'll love tap. No one minds those.
So absolutely together, this four, but Cripps has got a bit of a lead as Richards seems to be, I hesitate to say he's holding people up because he's our championship leader,
yes.
But it does seem at the moment that the cars behind him have got enough pace at least to run with him.
For definite. I'm not sure whether it's trying to conserve his tyres a little bit more or whether it is that extra weight slowing him down, but he's probably just doing a clever race. Richards is very calculated in his racing and he's very good.
Tyre wear is going to be a big factor in this race because of the high-speed nature of this circuit, particularly that left front tyre takes a real punishment.
As Harold goes wild as well, a little bit wide. Can Manley get onto him?
And once again, Ashton's having a look at the back of Richards.
Has he left the door open though?
Richards taking a real tight line, not leaving any gap at all. He's bounced over the curbs quite hard there.
This battle may rage on for a few more laps yet. Ashton's looking very desperate to get past to try and make inroads to Callum Cripps' time.
Richards just positioning his car in the correct defensive position on the circuit everywhere. He's running Ashton out wherever he can, and that's allowed Harold to get alongside. Very defensive from Richards. Ashton's pushing his way through. There's
Harold's made his way through.
Harold's got around the outside because Richards was so defending so hard from Ashton. He's allowed Harold around the outside of him.
Very opportunistic, but a great move nonetheless from Harold there.
So yeah, Richards really driving very, very defensive, almost too defensively there because he couldn't defend from both cars at the same time.
He can't take two lines up at once. So I'm not sure who was worse to let past, Harold or Ashton. Ashton's more of an attacking driver and he'll try and bridge the gap. Harold was very defensive as well and he's very good at defending. I've so known it from the past.
Yeah, and Harold being one of our regular championship drivers, I thought maybe Richards would be more worried about him than Ashton, really.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Ashton might not be here for the entire championship due to his other racing commitments. But
everybody out on the grass out of Church Corner there, and you could see Ashton and Manley and Ben Brown all kicking up the dirt. Harold then defending from Richards into the chicane.
Richards has gone wide a bit, but he's still got the line.
Richards is back of his car, sliding around a lot. He's really struggling. Manley's got alongside Ashton here.
This could be another move. Ashton could be going backwards.
So Ashton just unable to find a way past Richards, and that's allowed Manley to get alongside. John Curry is there as well in the Pink Panther Racing machine.
All of this has allowed Harold to get away a little bit. He's trying to trace down Callum now, and Callum's had the run of the luck so far.
Yeah, Callum Cripps really has been able to build a lead whilst this squabbling is going on behind. Harold, having got past, is now similarly being able to pull away from this pack and chase after Cripps. Here's Manley trying to get past Ashton.
Ashton defending quite tightly. He's trying to attack, but he's got to defend to try and keep Manley behind. Of course, these two regular championship contenders over the last couple of years went down to the final round.
Yes, Ashton and Manley have had some great battles over the years in this touring car championship, so I'm sure Manley will be delighted to see Ashton back in this race.
He'll be loving this. He'll have a massive grin on his face. He's like, come on then, let's see who can win out of us two. Forget the rest of the field. It's all about us two.
But Richards still, again, Ashton's got another fantastic run on Richards as they head down to the chicane on lap 6 of this 21-lap race.
Again, Richards defensive into that corner.
Bit of contact.
Holds him off.
Jack
Ooh.
Ashton trying to get a good run out, and he has got the run, and he's got the line. Possibly here he can get this move done on Richards.
He's in front. I think he's got that one.
Yes.
Let's see what Richards can come back with, if he can come back with anything.
So Ashton finally managed to get that inside line for that corner. Richards again defending hard now from Manley. Manley's got around the outside. Manley's got the place. And Manley moves up into 4th place in front of Richards.
That's a top quality move there from Manley. Setting it up 2 corners in advance to make sure he can get it done.
So Richards really struggling with this weight on, and now he's down to 5th from 2nd on the grid. So Manley will be very pleased with that, to be in front of his championship rival. So Cripps leads, Harold is 2nd, Ashton 3rd, Manley 4th, Richards is 5th, and John Curry in 7th. John Curry in 6th, Ben Brown in 7th, and then Hyde 8th, Wilson 9th, and Handover down in 10th at the moment. So slightly out of position, Handover.
Yeah, we usually expect him right towards the top end of the grid. Looking at the actual lap times there, they're all so similar. I just saw the best laps flash up there, and they're all within a couple of tenths of each other, except for a few.
I think we've got through the first initial stage of this race, at 3rd race distance, lap 7. So now it might settle down for a little bit, and drivers will be thinking about how they're going to manage their tyres to the end of this 21-lap race. Ooh. And here comes John Curry now trying to pass Richards at the first corner.
It's maybe a damage limitation race for Richards here. He seems to be really struggling with this extra weight. Yeah,
the back of the car seems to be sliding around a lot, particularly you notice it through the chicane. He's struggling to control the rear of the car.
Maybe it's the defensive driving. Maybe he's been trying too hard to keep people behind. Possibly better to just try and stick behind people.
Yeah, so he's going to have to try and cling on as best he can and try and dig out the best result. As you say, a damage limitation exercise here for Matt Richards.
Just goes to show the calibre of all the drivers we've got in this championship, that anyone can fight with anybody. He may be the leader of a championship, but anyone from 5th to 7th, 10th can all put the race to him.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got drivers like John Curry and Ben Brown there. Not going to let him have this easily. And then all the way down the field, we've got some high-quality drivers. So Richards is going to have his work cut out to try and maintain this 5th position.
Let's see if a slipstream comes into effect come around this very far section of the track.
Yep, so there we can see that's Ben Brown in the grey and green car, just behind John Curry there in the Pink Panther Racing Astra.
Astra seems to be the car of choice in this championship.
It is a very popular choice of car, yeah. It does seem that the Astra or the MG is the car to have. And someone spun on the pit straight, you could see in that picture.
Hyde to me.
Yes, and Willis has knocked over all the advertising hoardings, and that's Richardson and Handover there.
Some very tight racing. Again, some great cameras here with picture-in-picture, so we can keep an eye on the front pack and also what's going on further down the grid.
There's so much action going on in these races. Yeah, we need to have eyes in 2 places at once.
We try our best to bring everything, but we sometimes miss things. We apologise, but as you can agree, it's a very exciting race for everyone involved. So,
Manley there 4th, Richards, Curry, Ben Brown in 7th place. And then the picture-in-picture, you've got Willis, Handover, and Richardson in the green and white with red flashes, the Vauxhall Astra, having a look at Handover.
Interestingly, I've just seen here that Astra went faster than the front 2 that last lap. Maybe he's trying to...
Yes, so perhaps Ashton is trying to catch that gap. It's spread out a little bit at the front. Manley is now defending. Richards has regrouped a little bit.
Yeah, he seems to have put the pressure back on. Maybe he was sandbagging a little bit at the start to save his tyres, and now he thinks he can go for it.
Just trying to take as little as possible. We're on lap 10 of 21, so we're coming up to half distance. Manley, Richards, and there, John Curry just behind him.
Seems to be that Manley gets a really good exit out of the last chicane, and Richard struggles to get out of there.
Curry's made a mistake.
Has Curry rolled it?
He went very wide.
He's caught it.
Yeah, it looks like he's okay. I thought he might lose the place to Ben Brown, but no, not yet.
I did see him up on 2 wheels. That was almost a remake of the Clio's earlier this morning.
Yes, he did that in the Clio race this morning, caught too much curb and rolled the car over. So that is possible to do. I don't know, maybe these touring cars are not quite as susceptible to going over as the Clios.
Not as susceptible, but it's still possible if you really go for it, which Curry, I can assure you, really will. He's a very attacking driver, he's a fast driver, very good mindset of trying to get past people as early as possible.
Certainly likes to attack those curbs at the complex.
Of course, he's now lit Richards off. He doesn't have to worry so much about who's in his mirrors, and he's focused on attacking Manley now.
So Curry with Brown behind him, and then Chris Wilson in the other Cam Sport Ice car just behind.
Already a lot of tyre smoke coming out of Curry's car.
We saw that in the Clio race as well. He does seem to
he's
really
notorious.
a lot of smoke coming into the chicane.
He's notorious for wearing his tyres quite fast. He really tries hard to manage in the Clios, but wears them quite a lot. So touring cars must be 10 times worse.
Yeah, so that'll be a big factor. So we've still got Callum Cripps, who got into lead fairly early in this race, and he still leads on lap 11. Harold is in second place. Jack Ashton is third. Lewis Manley fourth, just ahead of his championship rival Matt Richards in fifth.
We've got Ashton here in our picture-in-picture, flashing his lights to try and unsettle Harold. He was about 3 tenths faster than the front two that lap.
Right, yeah, so Jack Ashton has got the bit between his teeth, and he can see Harold in front of him, and he is catching, trying to get that second place from Harold.
Yeah, we've just about reached halfway through this race, so there's still plenty of time to make some moves and make it happen for yourselves.
Oh, Ashton, look, on the grass coming out of church. He's done that several times this race, but
that really won't help you at all coming out of there. The fastest part of the track, you want to keep that speed. He's got plenty of time to make it back up.
Harold's gone a little bit wide there at the chicane, I would say.
Oh, that looked 4 wheels for me from Ashton. Has to be careful of that, because they will be giving you penalties for going over that corner.
Yeah, 2 strikes, 3rd strike, you have got a drive-through penalty. So we should get notified by race control if they hand out any penalties, but something to watch out for. Here we've got Curry's really having to defend from Brown now, and there Wilson as well, all over the back of these two.
This is very, very close racing.
Into the complex here. Curry's missed the apex a bit, but he should have the inside for this left-hander. But can he get a good run? Brown looks like he's trying the outside here as they exit the complex.
And he's got the inside for the next corner. Brown seems to have this one done.
It looks like he should be able to get it done. Yes, he's already through, and now Wilson's thinking he can have a go at Curry as well.
Ooh, wisely backs out of that one. It's not really an overtaking point on this track.
Very, very fast entry into that corner. So yeah, Wilson just thinks better of it. Curry trying to regroup. Brown up to 6th. Wilson has got a run though, it looks, on Curry here. Here he comes.
He's up the inside.
Church.
Has he compromised his exit? No, that seems quite clean to me.
Very clean move from Chris Wilson.
Will he defend into the chicane, or will he just attack it as normal?
Curry's got the slipstream though.
Goes defensive.
Yeah, he's holding that inside line, not leaving any gap, trying not to.
And behind them, Willis and Richardson having a nice little race as well. Willis trying to defend from Richardson into that last chicane. Does it well.
So yeah, Curry's lost a couple of positions there on that lap to both Wilson and Brown. So Curry's struggling a little bit at this stage of the race.
Looking at the lap times I've just looked at, it also looks like Ashton's being held up by Harold, shall I say, because their lap times are a lot slower than Cripps's that time round.
Here we are. Here is Jack Ashton in the white and grey Astra there, all over the back of Harold now. So in the battle for second place.
And that looming shadow in the background of Lewis Manley still thinks he's got a chance.
Yeah, Lewis Manley always thinks he has a chance. There he is. You can just see him flashing in the background.
You wouldn't count him out either. He's got a reputation for doing almost the impossible in these races.
So Harold, Ashton trying to get the slipstream here from Harold as they head down to the chicane on lap 13. Harold just holding the inside line, brakes very, very late. Ashton's just going to try and get a good run through here, I would say.
Yeah, early on the brakes there from Ashton to try and get a nice line through the corner, get a nice run.
Using all the road and a bit more.
Ooh.
Not quite close enough there to get up the inside, maybe into the complex.
Like he backed out a little bit there to drop back in behind him because he wasn't going to get the move done. Probably actually a smart bit of driving because he can keep the... Ooh.
Here we go. He's gone for a very late break. There's a contact between the two, but Ashton got his car well alongside, I'd say.
Here comes Manley as well. He's seeing this. He's loving it.
Harold's defending well. Exiting the complex. Ashton's trying to get alongside, but he will be on the outside for the next left-hander.
Sighting times.
Can't quite hold it in there. Can he get up the inside here? No. Harold shuts the door. Manley is there, and Manley is coming.
All this is allowing Cripps to just merrily make his way forward. There you can see him in the picture there. Quite a nice Sunday drive.
Absolutely out on his own.
And he's not going slow either. He's really working for it. I mean, he could make a mistake of his own, but we hope he doesn't. He's usually a very clean driver, very fast driver.
Here comes Ashton again at the chicane. Harold brakes very late. Keeps the door closed. Yep, good defensive driving. Manley now is right on the back of Ashton.
Oh, has he got a penalty?
Harold must have had a penalty for cutting the chicane somewhere, and I think he's taken a drive through. So he's gone, but now we're left with Ashton and Manley battling over second place.
We're so used to seeing this, and I'm never going to get tired of seeing this. Ashton v Manley, we love it.
So Ashton will be relieved. Oh, and here comes Manley up the inside.
From a long way back.
Very, very late.
Long way back.
He's completely missed the corner, and he took Ashton with him. And that was a very ambitious move from Manley.
Very ambitious. I'm wondering whether Race Direction might ask him to give that one back because he took him with him, or whether he thought he'd got the move done already.
There's definitely going to be conversation happening over that, I think. Matt Richards now, you can see in the background behind these two, is also catching. So
I did a little bit of disservice to him earlier. I thought he was going to go backwards. I thought that he couldn't manage this heavy weight, but it seems now later in the race he was managing his race very well.
I think he was just looking after the tyres those early stages and just didn't panic when he was being overtaken and dropping a few places. He was just he was thinking about the end of the race even then.
Yeah. Ashton up onto the grass again there to try and keep as much speed as possible to chase Manley down.
Manley adopting the defensive inside position here. Very, very tight to the inside, Manley. Ashton just trying to cut it back.
Trying to keep that momentum again, push forward, get a good exit. Although Manley seems to get away from there really well every time, even with that weight in the car.
So Harold, who had that drive-through, has dropped down to 10th place. So that's how costly getting a drive-through can be.
Extremely costly. We saw it early in the Clios. It can ruin your entire race. And in this racing in touring cars, where there's tenths between people in races, a track penalty going through the pits is going to cost your entire race. You can't make that back up.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to really end your chances of finishing high up the order.
Who's this we got in picture? Is this Willis, Richardson and Curry, I think it is, that we're on board with?
Yes, that's right, yes. On board with Curry, looking back at Willis and Richardson behind us. There's some very fierce battling going on all the way down the field. And here comes Ashton again. He's trying to go on the outside. I'm thinking that Manley's given him a position there. I think
he's let off and let him pass for the earlier contact, which is good. We know that Lewis is a very good sportsman. We want to win it that way anyway.
But in doing so, look how Richards has got that much closer to the back of Manley, as Manley gives that position to Ashton. This is Richards' chance.
And Manley defends it very, very well.
Yeah, well controlled from Manley. So, yeah, he gave the place back. As you said, a very sporting gesture. And can he now fend off his great championship rival?
That remains to be seen, but we can't wait to see the battle. And we know that Richards is good at making his way past people. We've seen him in fights with the entire grid before, and Manley is not shy at making a move either.
So on lap 17 of 21, we've got the two wildcard drivers, first and second. As we said, they were going to be very competitive with no weight on, and so it is proved. Cripps has led for pretty much most of this race. Yeah, Ashton has now got into second place.
He made his way through. It wasn't as simple as you thought. He didn't start on pole, started on third, made his way through, and he's just gapped himself and got away from all the action behind himself. It's a very good race for himself, well controlled.
But this fight here between the championship rivals, Manley and Richards, is going to go all the way to the flag, I think. This is what really counts for the championship. Manley will be desperate to keep Richards behind, especially with Richards carrying maximum success ballast. But here comes Richards. He's got the slipstream. He's having a look. He's trying to adopt the outside position as they head down to the chicane. Manley's going to defend the inside as much as he can. Richards is brake very late indeed. He's trying to go on the outside. He's got to cut the chicane.
No.
He carried so much speed in there.
Now, it's interesting to see what happens here, because I was told in the briefing that even if you lifted off when cutting that corner, you would still get a warning. I'm not sure, because Richard really did lift off there.
Yeah,
we'll have
clearly
to see what happens.
Accepted he wasn't going to make the move, and it has cost him probably a little bit of time.
Yeah, quite a bit of time, actually. Yeah, it's not easy to make that back against the top runners, but, well, a very good sportsman there from Richards. He backed out of that knowing he was going to go wide. Yeah,
it shows how desperate he is to try and just get in front of Manley, just take a few more championship points away from Manley, get more for himself, especially when he's carrying all this success ballast. Ben Brown there in the background out on the grass.
Very sneaky race from him. You didn't really hear much about him earlier. We spoke about him chasing people down, but he's still there and thereabouts. So he's ready to take a few places if something happens.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good race from Ben Brown there in 5th place. Chris Wilson is 6th. Willis is 7th. Harold's now back up to 8th after his drive-through penalty.
I must admit, it's been a great race from Willis. We've got Willis, Curry, Richardson.
What do we think happened to Curry? Do you think he's had a penalty? Because he seemed to have dropped a few places.
It's a possibility, but he did have a bit of contact earlier on, and he had a bit of battling going on. Maybe that caused him to fall back a bit.
Mangera
after the race.
Mangera on the grass there, coming through that fast part of the track.
Well, I saw Handover and Curry going side by side in the background there.
Here we are. Here's Handover going up the inside of John Curry here into the chicane.
Squiggly from Curry there. It looks like he's worn his tyres quite a lot again. Lots of tyre smoke going off, braking late.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling a bit. So Handover now up into 10th. And he's looking to chase down Richardson in front of him.
It looks like he's going to get him very quickly as well.
Yeah, he's already quite close to the back of Richardson as they head up to the complex on lap 19.
Very wide from Richardson there, and he's straight through.
Missed the apex. Handover's trying to go around the outside here and have the inside for the next right-hander. It's a nice move.
All the speed he's carried from that corner, he's definitely going to keep that one.
Yeah.
And now he's got to hunt down Harold for that 8th position. It's strange that we've got such good racing all the way back to 8th position on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe Handover's looked after his tyres a bit better than people around him at the moment. He seems to suddenly have a lot more pace than the cars around him.
Yeah, I mean, you can still see the tyre smoke. This corner's renowned for keeping your foot flat to the floor and just letting it slide a little bit and cook the tyres a little bit. Too much of that in the race, though, is going to cost you later on, and he looks to have handled it very well.
In the corner of your screen, you can see that Manley's pulled a few car lengths gap to Richards now. So maybe just Manley's beginning to cement that 3rd position.
Yeah, and I'm sure Manley will be extremely happy with that, with the amount of weight he's got in the car and gaining some points back on the championship leader.
Here is Harold recovering from that drive-through penalty. He's running 8th.
And already Handover on the back of him again.
Handover, yeah, is flying and is coming up to the back of Harold here.
He's running out of laps, though. 2 to go.
Yeah, lap 20, so not long to go now. In the corner of your screen, you can see there Manley still running 3rd, still pulling a little bit of a gap over Richards.
Watching these two on the screen with Handover and watching Harold, you can see how much easier it is for Handover to put the car where he wants it to go. You can see Harold physically struggling to force it to go into a corner. It must be all about tyres now.
Yeah, so I think Harold is struggling a lot more than Handover here. So Handover's just looking to move Harold around in front of him a bit.
Put him under a bit of pressure, see if he makes a mistake, find that gap and force his way through.
Here we go.
It comes.
Up the inside into Church.
Got his headlights on again. He seems to like having his headlights on. It's not dark.
He does. He's on a charge. Handover is on a charge at the end of this race, and he's moved through into 8th place now. Probably still not where he'd want to be, but...
still not where he wants to be. Can he make it any higher? I mean, that's a big ask now, looking at the gap in front of him, but I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, big gap now for Handover up to Willis in front of him in 7th in the red and black MG. So it could be that could be it. We're on the last lap now, I believe, so... Callum Cripps still leading this race, as he has done for the vast majority of it.
Curry's tyres must have really gone off. Ollie Davies here in the Subaru. I think he's replacing Ben Winter for this round. He's right on the back of him now, trying to make a position in the last lap of the race.
Yeah, in the corner screen you can see that, and in the main screen we've got Callum Cripps here in the yellow MG. He's led most of this race once he got past Harold at the start, and he was able to make that break.
Nothing stopping him at all, was there? It was a case of I've got to the front, I've got clear track, and it's just like a time trial for him now, and he's handled it really well. Didn't let anything, no doubt, creeped into his head.
No, he's been able to just run the race he wanted to from the front, and look at the lead he's got. I mean, he's out of sight of the rest of the field.
Must think everyone else has gone home.
He is absolutely miles in front. He comes down to the chicane for the final time.
And here comes Davies on Curry. He's jinx to the outside.
Callum Cripps wins it then. A superb drive. Led the most of the race. And he wins race 1 here at Thruxton. In the corner of the screen, you can see Davies all over the back of John Curry there. So Ashton has finished 2nd. Manley comes home 3rd. Richards is 4th. So Manley will be pleased with that to beat Richards for the championship. Here comes Curry. He looks like he's going to fend off Davies to the line. And he does.
Must be Really happy about that, knowing his tyres were probably dead at this point.
So Curry comes home 11th. Yeah, Davies 12th. This is Colin Talbot, who will be finishing in 13th place.
I'm sure he won't be happy with that one, but he's got it to the line and didn't seem to have too much trouble.
Yeah. And then here we have Hyde coming through 14th with Manguera actually right close behind
him. Yeah, so it just goes to show how close this championship is.
So sort of what we speculated at the start was that these wildcard drivers, there they are, Cripps and Ashton would be a big factor in this race, and they certainly were. They finished first and second. So
it'd be interesting to see how they do with weight in their car in the next race, to be honest.
Yes, I think Richards and Manley will be thinking, well, okay, you can win with no weight on, but let's see what you can do when you've got some success ballast.
I'm sure they won't be worried about it. Manley will be thinking, it's fine, my championship rival was behind me this race. I got the points back.
I think Manley will be pleased with that result. So we're going to take a short break, and then we will have a chat with the top 3 drivers. So back shortly. Right, here we have our race winner from race 1. Callum Cripps has joined us.
Hello.
So, Callum.
How are we? How are you getting on with commentating, first of all?
My voice is starting to go, but apart from that, it's fine.
Great.
So we did say at the beginning of the race that you could be one of the disruptors, being you've got no weight on, and you were going to be a factor in this race. So once you got in the lead, you seem to just be able to run your own race, really.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting it, though, to be honest. I mean, this is the first time I've actually driven an NGTC car. Here, especially with the new wheels that we've got today. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting it because I've always watched like this series on YouTube because obviously I did like season 2 and season 1 when it first started. Yeah. And obviously you got some really quick guys, Richards, Manley still in it, all the rest of it. And I thought I'd like to try and see. I'd probably like going into the race. I thought if I can get top 3, that'd be quite useful.
Yeah.
And then I don't know really why people were backing off so much. Richard seemed quite slow. I think he had the weight on. I had no weight, being in mind.
Yeah, Richards had 66 kilos on and seemed to run a race where he was very conservative on his tyres at the start, and he was a lot faster towards the end of the race.
Well, I was thinking from lap 1, like as soon as I got into the lead, I was just like, oh, okay, I'll play my lead in front for a bit and let the guys kind of squabble behind. And I thought, okay, they're just going to tow me, and I'll just be in the lead of the train because it's better to be there than kind of battling for 3rd and 4th because that's what normally happens.
The key seemed to be passing Harold quite early on. You were the first guy to pass Harold, and then he seemed to hold the field up a little bit behind you. And that allowed you to get away.
Yeah, that's true. And then when I started to break away, then I was just like, okay, I can actually try and extend a lead here. And as soon as I broke the toe, I was like, okay. And then it just kept on going and kept on extending for a bit. So, but my tyres, I was managing my tyres from lap 2. As soon as I got into the lead, like I was just like managing tiny little inputs. My front left was 19% at the end.
Right, yeah.
So even managing it, like it's really, really hard work. So the guys behind, obviously, they're using their tyres more, so it affects them more.
So next race, you'll have some success ballast on.
Yeah. So
it'll be a different challenge for you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that like I think I can adapt to it quite well. I like Thruxton anyway; it's quite a good circuit for me. It is a bit dodgy around church and all the rest of it, but yeah, it's good fun. So it's just the track limits is interesting for everybody. I was being so slow through there, like half a second, just breaking at the 200 metre board, just so I didn't make a mistake. So, but yeah, it was good. As soon as I passed the front guys, I thought try and stretch away a bit, and it worked. So. It's only one of a few wins I've had in touring cars actually when I've been here, so yeah, I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, good. So we'll look forward to seeing the second race, and hopefully we'll talk to you again.
Yeah, happy days.
Cheers.
Right, cheers.
Okay, We'll bring in our second place driver. Another one of our wild cards, Jack Ashton. Another one of the disruptors. So, quite an interesting race for you there, Jack. It seemed like you had quite a bit of trouble getting past Harold.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was mainly the problem was getting past Richards.
Richards, yeah.
He's just holding me up so much and causing a big train as well with Harold behind me. It just allowed Callum to get away. Otherwise, I'd hoped I'd try and stay with him, just being on the same weight ballast.
But once you got through, Callum
the thing was, I got in a bit of a tussle in the complex section where I got ran out on the inside, and then Harold took advantage and took both of us.
Yes.
So then I had to then get past Richards. Well, try and get past Richards again. To which then Harold then got away miles, and then I caught Harold up, and then trying to get past Harold again, which is quite tricky. And then that led Lewis onto the back of me. It
was good to see you and Manley battling together after your previous history together in the Touring Car Championship. So I think it was good for the viewers to see you two rejoined in battle.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was there's a move that was a bit questionable, and Lewis is not happy with the decision, but I feel that I was sort of pushed off the track completely.
Yes, there was a move where Lewis went up the inside and he seemed to go very, very deep into the corner and sort of took you with him.
I'm happy for someone to take a dive. I did it on Richards, but you got to make the corner, unfortunately. Like I'm all fair game for a dive, but
he did. He handed you the place back, didn't he? Later on the
he got told to get the place, take the place back. So I've just chatted to him now. He's not happy with it, but
well, we'll get his view on it in a second, and good luck for the next one, and hopefully we'll be chatting to you again in the race too.
Yeah,
Cheers. Right, so let's get Lewis Manley in third place. So Lewis, the main talking point there was possibly that incident with Jack Ashton, where you passed him but were then asked to give the place back. What happened from your view?
Well, to be honest, my pass I thought was fine because I braked a little later, made the corner, but then his car hit me. That's the reason why I went off the track, because I braked a little late, got on the inside, and then I got told I wasn't fully alongside when I braked, but I was clearly alongside when I made the corner because my car was ahead. So and I get hit from the back, and then got the place to second, and then I got told the next lap I had to let him back through, which I completely disagreed, unfortunately. So
you felt you would have made the corner were it not for the contact?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would have made the corner because I braked a little later and then braked sharply so now I can make it. Because if his car didn't hit me, it wouldn't have rotated my car off the track because I would have easily kept it on the track. So that's why I'm very disappointed to let him back through. But there you go.
Still good points for you. I mean, you beat your championship rival Richards, so you got a few more points than him. So not overall a terrible result.
Well, at least that's something. But now obviously I've got to be heavier than Richards by 9 kilos. So obviously I start third this time. But on the start, I tried to kick my foot on the brake, and then it wouldn't rev up. So that's why my start was not great. So and then I got back to fifth, and then later in the race I made a good move around the outside at Campbell Cobb and Seagrave, because normally you call that a Swedish shuffle move. So that's what I was trying to do. And Howell did it before, made 2 cars and up 2 places, and I made 1 up a couple of laps later. So obviously got to hope start will go better this time and the race to plan. So hopefully I've got to keep out of trouble.
Okay, well, we look forward to trying to seeing you pull that move in the next race then.
Well, fingers crossed, and hopefully I don't get any letting back through again, because as I say, I just didn't really agree with that. So there you go.
All right, good luck for the next one, Lewis, and hopefully we'll chat to you again then.
Thanks.
Cheers. We're going to take a short break now as the drivers get ready for race 2. We'll be back with you shortly.
That was an interesting opinion.
Okay, so welcome back for race 2 of the afternoon. Straight back into it. So after the interviews where there's some slightly interesting opinions between, or difference of opinion between Jack Ashton and Lewis Manley over that incident in race 1. We did find, I think, Sean, you were speaking to some of the drivers about tyre wear issues.
Yeah, while I was away from all the action that was going on in here, where Mark handled it very well by the sounds of it, it seems that John Curry only had a few percent left on his wheel. Colin Tower only 2% left, which is why he dropped so far down the grid.
Right, yeah. So it wasn't a drive-through or anything, it was just Curry was struggling so much for tyres.
Yeah, he was struggling so much. Obviously, Harold did have the penalty, which we thought was as much when we saw him dive into the pits, but it seems tyre wear does come into play here, and with the drivers that use up a lot of tyre, then they're probably going to struggle later on in race pace, unlike Richard, who seemed to have good late race pace. Yeah,
so we've got the drivers here on their warm-up lap for race 2. You can see the grid order on the top left of your screen, so the finishing order basically of race 1. So, but of course, success ballast now being applied to all the drivers, so Cripps and Ashton will not have this advantage of having no weight. They've now got to fight with everybody else, with Cripps running, of course, maximum success ballast.
Of course, Manley's used to the weight already. You know, it's like he's even got a little bit less weight than before, and Richards has a lot less weight than he had before, so we should look for them to try and... well, I don't know. Richard last had a 2-part race. It was slow in the first start of it to save the tyres and then pushed really hard at the end. Maybe he'll do the same again. Yeah, so he'll have a lot less weight on. He'll have some weight, but a lot less than he did in the first race. So Richards, his car will be feeling really good and really fast. And then Cripps will be thinking, what the hell's happened to my car compared to what it was in the first race. And same for Ashton as well. So this could be a really exciting race. So we have Ben Brown and Chris Wilson there. Both had a bit of a hectic start to the race, but a quiet finish, and brought on some good points last race. Yeah, a good solid result from both those drivers. So they'll be quite happy really to be there, 5th and 6th in the middle of the pack. There is Handover, who struggled a bit in that first race actually. We've seen him run quite near the front. Had previously. Really good late race pace though, didn't he? He was pushing his way through the pack like they weren't even there. So maybe he almost overmanaged his tyres. But all the time these drivers are learning and maybe adjusting their strategy slightly as they gain more information about the tyres. Definitely. Speaking to John Curry, apparently at the start, he was on the outside as part of a free wide, and he had to back out as well. So, perhaps he got sucked into the back of the pack early on. Interesting. So much going on in that race 1, and I'm sure there's going to be so much going on in this race 2 that we're impossible to keep up with all of it, but we'll do our best. Here's Manguera just lining up in the 15th place on the grid. And once the drivers are all in position, we will wait for the lights and to get race 2 underway. So Cripps there in the yellow MG on the left-hand side, Ashton on the right in the white and grey Astra. Revs rising, waiting for the lights. And they're away, and it looks like a very even start by both of the drivers at the front. Manley's got a great start. He looks like he's got in front of Jack Ashton. Richards is right up behind him as well. So Ashton then is on the outside. Can he fend off Manley as they come into the complex for the first time? Manley will be confident here if he can break. Yes, I think he's got that. Oh, it's going to be a tight run all the way through here, and Richards is licking his lips, thinking he's going to get a good run on both of these guys. Yeah, so Ashton has managed to fend Manley off there, and he's maintained his 2nd place. Richards is right there as well. Chris Wilson is into 5th position. Harold is 6th. Brown 7th. Curry 8th. Handover 9th. And here we have Richards really looking... Oh, Ashton very sideways through there on this first lap. Of course, cold rear tyres. That certainly won't help him coming out of this corner, and Manley senses he's got a good chance there. Manley is sort of both defending from Richards and sort of trying to attack Ashton at the same time. Ooh, Richards sideways there, but he's kept the pace. He has. Richards has got a good run. Manley's going defensive. Wilson behind them as well, looking for a pass. Wilson, yeah, looking to maybe get past Richards here. He's adopting the inside. Oh, has he been fired off? It looks like something happened to Wilson there. He just shot off the circuit into the barriers of the chicane. I think it was an assisted shot off, but we'll have to see a replay of that later, and we'll leave that to race direction to resolve. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a replay perhaps, but here we're hearing that there was a slight nudge from Harold that basically fired Wilson into the barriers there. But we have here Manley in 3rd place. Ashton is right on the back of Cripps at the moment. Here's a replay then. Oh. Getting a bit of reverse action there. Here we go. So there's Wilson on the inside, and there's a bit of contact here between him and Harold. One going one way, one going the other. That's going to be another difficult one to call for race direction, to be honest.
they will have a good look at that and see who was moving across the line, basically, and decide whether there's any further action needs to be taken. But bad luck for Wilson there.
We've still got a good race going on here at the front. Manley running in third. Again, he won't be too worried about the two in front of him. It'll be Richards behind him that's the thing that worries him the most.
Yeah, he will be just looking to stay in front of Richards. Of course, Manley this race carrying a bit more weight than Richards. And Cripps still managing quite well out front, but carrying that full success ballast. So Ashton is there or thereabouts in this race.
Right in the fuzzy background, I can see Davies looking to have a move around the outside of the hive with that Subaru. It looks like he's got past him. He's into ninth now.
Yeah, just saw a flash of it there. Possibly Davies getting through. But it's shaping up to be a pretty exciting race, this one. Everyone on a sort of even pace at the moment. So the front five pretty much together. A little bit of a gap back to Ben Brown. And then John Curry in 7th.
Good start to the race with Ben Brown. He's very good at going about his business nice and calmly and trying to save those tyres towards the end of the race.
So here they come, this train of 5 cars at the front. In the corner of your screen, that is Hyde, battling with Richardson over at 10th place. Just behind the Subaru of Davies, sorry.
Battles all the way down the grid here. It's a really exciting chance to be a part of. Hopefully one day some of you watching will be able to be part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. There is sometimes a couple of spots available on the grid, as we've got a couple of stand-in drivers this weekend in Cripps and Ashton, and look at how well they're going. So, yeah, if anybody wants to get involved, get in contact with Simply Race, and we might be able to get you on the grid. As they come down here, look, we've got Richards, who's in the slipstream of Manley, as they head down to the chicane on lap 3.
All concertinas together and then spreads out a little bit more coming out of the exit. Very similar pace from these guys.
Yeah, very similar for all this front group at the moment. So the weight is sort of evening everything out. But Manley looking very racy now. He's up behind Ashton and swarming around the back of the Astra.
Fastest lap for Richards that lap. 1:14.5. Very, very fast time.
So Lewis Manley was talking in that interview we did a second ago about moving people around in the complex to sort of set a move up at the beginning of the complex and execute it at the end. So it'd be interesting to see if he tries that sort of move on Jack Ashton.
It's kind of what you have to do with these fast-paced drivers. You can't just force it to fit in a corner because they'll have it covered every single day. But taking the time to set up, see where they're weak, see where you're strong is the best way to do it. A couple of laps take it all in. Of course, it's hard when you've got someone like Richards all over the back end of you trying to get past too.
Definitely, yeah. And these top drivers set a move up several corners before they actually pull it. So they will kind of pull an overtaking move over 3 or 4 corners, just moving the rail, get the driver in front just to go defensive in certain places, cost them a bit of momentum, and then
see if it gets in their head a little bit. Just see him in the mirrors pulling out a little bit. Looks like we're Davies trying to go around Handover as well in the picture-in-picture.
Yeah, so Handover running in 8th. He's got the Subaru of Davies in 9th, all over the back of him here, coming out of the chicane.
Davies actually had less practice time than everyone else because he ran quite late. It seems he's got the measure of a track now after having to qualify and go straight into the race. He knows what he's getting to grips with this Subaru. Yeah, he's done a whole race now, so he'll have a lot more understanding of the circuit, how this car goes around here, and also how the tyres are being used. In the meantime here, we've got Ashton sort of opened he's pulled a slight gap on Manley, who was right on the back of him last lap. Again, similar lap times from the top two. Cripps and Ashton just 0.04 of a second between their last laps. It's that tight. Ashton's on the grass. He's really on the grass at Church. He'll be losing a few places there. It's going to cost him a lot, I think. He's still on the grass. The problem is you can't get back on the track when you go off there because the track's going right and you're going left. The car just won't turn. It's not made for that. The slicks are made for this nice tarmac surface. As soon as you get on the grass, it doesn't want any of it. So Ashton has lost 2 places. He's down to 4th. Not the end of his race by any means, but he'll be a bit frustrated. And Manny will be extremely happy. A couple of extra points. A bigger points gap down to his rival Richards as well. Yeah, I think what he'll want now is for Ashton to get in front of Richards and just, upset him a little bit more, yeah. And again, we see in our smaller picture, Handover trying to fend off Davies. Don't know if his early pace is going to be the same as last time and try and pull away later on. So Cripps still controlling this race at the moment, but now Manley is released. How close
How hard can Manley push? Can he catch up to the back of Cripps, and can he try and win this race?
Will there be that thought in his head that I can win this race? And will it overpower the thought of, should I save my tyres? That's what we need to know.
That's it, yeah, and he's got Richards looming large in his mirrors behind him, so...
That's enough to anyone to start putting their foot a little bit heavier on the accelerator to try and get away, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. There's no time to rest or relax in this one. So MGs at the moment, 1, 2, 3, seems to be the car of choice around this Thruxton circuit at the moment.
Yeah, everyone picking the Astras, but the MGs seem to be having the most luck in this track and the most fun.
Richards has got alongside here of Manley as they head down to the chicane. Both braking about the same time, Manley holding the inside. Richards has forced an opening into the chicane.
Probably the best overtake I've seen today.
That was absolutely brilliant by Richards. He just stayed there, and Manley gave him the space that he had to because he was there, and that just allowed Richards to get the move done.
Great racing room from both of these. A lot of respect from these drivers for each other. They know how fast they are. Always gone wide. Can Manley make something of this?
Into the chicane, can Manley pull his favourite move through these 50 corners? He's holding the outside, he's got the inside now for the left.
Richards going, oh.
Now it might cost Manley a bit of momentum. Can Richards get back underneath him coming out of here?
And Ashton's sitting there thinking, oh, I could probably make the best of this as well.
And they're side by side through this very fast left-hander. Richards is still there. He's got the inside now. There's contact, a lot of contact. And that's allowed Ashton up the inside. More contact. Ashton has just opened the gap slightly.
Piers Manley wasn't too happy with that. I could hear him over the top of all our commentary.
Definitely contact. But he's managed to just fend off Ashton as they head through Church Corner. Ashton's on the grass again.
This is allowing Ben Brown to catch back up with them again.
Ben Brown in 5th. Yep, he's there watching all this unfold in front of him.
And again, Cripps getting away at the front. He's having a masterclass today.
This squabbling is just perfect for Cripps. It's just allowing him to gently edge away from this pack.
And run his own race. It means he doesn't have to put pressure on his tyres. He can save them all up for when he needs them the most.
So, Richards in front of Manley at the moment.
Ashton on the grass again.
Ashton, yeah, really pushing very hard. He's all over the place, using absolutely every inch of the track and quite a bit of the grass as well. So Manley will be desperate to get in front of Richards, though. Because at one point you thought he could go chasing after Callum Cripps in the lead, but now that plan's out the window.
Yeah, I saw him on the grass again out on the exit of that corner. And in the bottom corner, you can also see this war of attrition going on between the Subaru and another Astra of handover. They're very close, keep constituting together every lap. Subaru seems to gain on the flat-out sections, and then handover gains through the last chicane in the first sector.
Yeah, so the rear-wheel drive Subaru, obviously better in one part of the lap than the front-wheel drive Astra.
The place you expect it to be better, because it can push itself around the corner and keep it flat out, whereas a front-wheel drive car will try and drag it out towards the edge of the track.
Manley is flashing his lights furiously at Richards down the straight here as they head down to the chicane.
I'm sure Richards won't mind.
I think he'll just be thinking, brilliant, I've got Manley, I've got in Manley's head here.
Yeah, I've got past him. He's already getting annoyed about me being here. He's flashing his lights. He wants to get in my head, but I'm in his.
Yep.
I'm right where I need to be. And we're not even halfway through this race yet, so tyres can become a factor very fast.
Yeah, just lap 9 of 21. So Cripps leads, Richards there second, Manley very close behind in third. Ashton struggling a little bit with this pace, I think. It's just dropping off the back of Manley. Ben Brown is 5th, John Curry's 6th. Handover in the corner of your screen is 7th, fending off Davies in the Subaru, as he has been the whole race so far.
Interestingly, Mark, I've just seen that Richards posted a lap time 0.7 of a second faster than Cripps that lap. So maybe he's hunting down the lead now. Right,
yeah, so Richards at this point of the race flying with a very fast lap time, certainly compared to the cars around him. So he seems to have decided that now is the time to push.
It was around this point last race he started to push. It was about 10 laps in he started to push that car and make some funny shapes with it to get to fit.
Yeah, so he's Cripps. You can see Cripps is a bit of a lead, but it's not a huge lead by any means. And I think Richards is thinking, I can win this race.
And Manley's probably thinking, I can probably win this race as well.
Yeah, I think all these top drivers would back themselves to win this race. Maybe Jack Ashton struggling a little bit, I think, with the success ballast he's got on. He's dropped a little bit off the back of Lewis Manley, so...
Yeah, he seems to have been pushing quite hard early on and catching the grass more often than not and losing his momentum on this track, and you can't afford that here.
So here we look, you can see that Richards has getting very close to the back of Cripps now. So
again, it's a 0.6 of a second faster that lap.
So Richards 6/10 quicker than Cripps, on that last lap. So definitely, it looks like Richards is the fastest of this front group at the moment at this stage of the race.
1.5 seconds faster over 2 laps. That's quite a lot to make up.
And he is probably, do you think he'll be feeling a bit of a slipstream effect now? Is he close enough?
Most definitely be feeling a slipstream now.
Yeah, he's right on the back. He's almost on the rear bumper of Cripps as they come out of Church Corner.
He is in his boot, and he's going to try and make a move here. Cripps goes defensive, I think.
Cripps is going to try and defend that inside line. Can Richards pull the same move he did on Manley, hanging it around the outside? No, he can't.
Tried his best.
I think Cripps was sort of wise to it a little bit.
He still seems to have got a very good exit again there, though, so Richards still right on the back of him.
Yeah, Richards there still very close to the back of Callum Cripps in the yellow MG.
In our little picture in the bottom corner, you may have noticed as well, Handover has caught up to Curry. Even though he's been defending from Davies, Curry is coming into picture a lot more.
Yeah, so Handover and Davies. And here, look, Richards is trying to set up a move on Cripps, I think, here. He's trying to move him around in the complex.
He's trying to get a nice, smooth set of corners so he can just carry the speed through and just maybe take him and never come. Here we go.
He's got alongside, but the next corner is a left-hander, so he'll be on the outside. He's trying to hang on the outside.
And try and get the inside for the next corner.
Yes, it looks like he's got the inside. Cripps is very wide. He's offline.
He's looking for it as well.
So Richards is through into the lead. Now Cripps is having to defend furiously from Lewis Manley.
This is Manley's worst nightmare. He can't be giving away points like this. He'll want to get past Cripps as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what Manley did not want to have happen, is for them to be cars in between him and Richards. And, of course, at one point, remember, Manley was in front of Richards.
So it's gone from being a good day of game points back to losing a bit extra than he'd want to. I'm sure it won't be the end of this race, to be honest with you. I'm sure Cripps will make another move past. Manley will be looking to try and get past as well.
Handover has caught Curry in the corner of his screen.
Yeah, this race is going to play out quite well. Maybe Davies has decided to sit behind him and work together to try and get to the rest of the pack, because just in front of them is also Ben Brown. He's not exactly gapped them that much.
No, so we've got this front three of Richards, Cripps and Manley. Then a bit of a gap back to Jack Ashton in fourth. Then a bit of a gap from him back to Ben Brown in fifth. And then a smaller gap. And then John Curry, Handover and Davies pretty much together there fighting over 6th, 7th and 8th places.
Looks like it's going to become a pack of 4 at some point in this race. So I look forward to seeing that later on in the race.
Now you can see Richards is opening a slight gap. What was his last lap time?
Richards' last lap time was 1:15.7, but we were fighting. But again, it was still 0.6 faster than Cripps.
Yes, again, so Richards at this stage of the race consistently faster than Cripps, and Manley is all over the back of Cripps as they head through Church Corner.
And interestingly, 0.004 of a second between Manley and Richards' last lap times. Almost exactly the same.
So here comes Manley again as we head down to the chicane. He's had a little look, but I think Cripps brake very, very late, almost too late. He's opened the door, and Manley just walked straight through. So mistake there from Cripps. He was just too late on the brakes, I think, into the chicane.
Far too late on the brakes, trying to defend his position a little bit too aggressively, and Manley will be happy with that. Even though he's not in front, he's still going to gain some points back against Richards in this championship.
Here comes Curry, Handover and Davies battling over that 6th position. Handover with the lights on again, on the grass slightly there.
Curry, again, suffers with tyre wear quite badly on this track. He suffers with tyre wear on most tracks, but I'm sure he's trying to manage it this race. Maybe he's dropped the pace a little bit to save his tyres, or maybe at this point in the race he's already struggling. We never know until we get out of the car, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Handover is definitely looking like he wants to get past. Looks like he's got the pace over Curry at this stage.
Yeah, Davies has dropped back a little bit now, and Handover seems to have put his foot down. We're past the halfway point, and this is where people start deciding, I've got the tyres left, and I need to push to make some positions.
Yeah, so Handover looking every which way around the back of Curry. He's just trying to stay as close as possible through Church Corner here. Can he get into slipstream as they exit Church and head down to the chicane? Lap 13 of 21. They're coming down now. He's having a little bit of a look. He's
had to dive out of that one.
Yeah, I think he was worried about running into the back of Curry there, but he managed to avoid it.
That's very well done by Handover. He could have ruined both of their races there, and no one here likes to see that. So,
and he hasn't lost that much time, actually. Look how close he still is.
Bailed out of it, but still gained the time back.
Yep, so Curry then really having to defend quite hard from Handover here. Handover's having a look on the outside. Curry's defending the inside. Can Handover hang around the outside and get the inside here? Not quite. He thought about it, but I think he just bailed out the last moment.
And
Davies.
here comes Davies again, yes.
He's looking on in the Subaru. Will this give him the chance to get a couple of places?
Just a little bit of a front watch. Very similar times between the front two, 15.3 and 15.4 for Richards and Manley respectively. They're still gapping the people behind them, Cripps and Ashton, but it looks like it's going to be a close race to the finish.
So we're only on lap 14, 2/3 race distance. And here comes Handover again, trying the outside.
Seems to have a lot more tyre in that car. Can make shapes that Curry can't.
Yeah, absolutely. He can take lines that, are quite extravagant lines there from Handover.
Did lose a bit on the exit there, but he seems to gain it again.
Davies is swarming around all over the back of Handover as they head to the chicane. They're all braking very, very late.
Lots of tyre smoke from all of them there. Don't think you could be any closer coming out of that last corner.
They're absolutely together. And of course, swarming around the back of Curry, desperately trying to find some opening somewhere.
And here comes Harold as well, looking to join onto the back to make it a Pink Panther sandwich.
Yeah, Harold in the background in the Pink Panther Racing Astra with the grey bonnet, whereas Curry has the pink bonnet at the front of this group.
And Curry's going extremely defensive there. He made his line very early. I'm going for that apex.
Yeah, I think Curry's very much driving with defence in mind now. He's basically collected a bit of a group of cars behind him.
This is the most action we've got on track at the moment, it appears, is this between these four. I'm sure it's going to be close all the way to the end of the race. Pink Panther Racing Team, which is made up of John Curry and Harold, are both very good, aggressive and defensive drivers. And we've seen it in the Endurance Series, we've seen it in this series last year and again this year, and they won't be giving up points anytime soon.
No, they are hard racers, and so is Handover, and look at how hard he's pushing now. He's on the grass on the right-hand side, just desperate to get that inside. He almost lost the car.
That is the limit of how far you can push somebody without actually sending them off. And he's lost position here, I think.
Almost contact, I think, between him and Davies in the Subaru, and then Harold is also alongside.
And he's round the outside, he's gained a position.
Davies has lost out there, but there was a little bit of contact between Handover. But yeah, wow, Handover's desperation to get that inside line to the chicane. He nearly dropped it on the entrance run up to the chicane.
Yeah, a bit over-eager to make that position up. He's obviously got the race pace, and he's lost another position here.
He just left the door open there, I think, and Harold has gone straight through, and now he's fending off Davies.
He's got the inside line for this corner, and he's through too.
So Handover shuffled right to the back of this group in just a few corners. When he was looking to attack Curry for 6th place, he now finds himself 9th.
Yeah, you can see now a picture of Lewis Manley on board. It's even funnier, I reported earlier, it was 0.004 in their lap times. Last time it was 0.002.
Unbelievably close lap times at the front. But yeah, riding on board there with Manley, you can see the gap that Richards has managed to develop over the last few laps. So we've got 5 laps to go. Richards will be thinking, I can hang on to this.
And Manley will be thinking, oh no, I don't know if I've got the tyres left to catch back up with him.
Look at Manley using all the road and a bit more coming out of the chicane there.
There's nothing more he can do about this race, though. All he can do is race his race and hope that Richards makes a mistake so he can catch up with him. Again, 0.005 that last lap between them.
Davies was very sideways coming out of the chicane there. He lost the back of the car, of course, the rear-wheel drive Subaru. Lost a bit of traction exiting the chicane. That's allowed Handover to get alongside.
But he keeps the inside line there, and obviously you can keep your foot on the accelerator a lot more in his rear-wheel drive cars and just push it around the corner.
So, yeah, Davies managing to maintain that 8th position in front of Handover. Sliding the car around quite a bit. But Handover has turned his lights off, I notice. Is that Handover sort of saying, oh, I've had enough?
Possibly. Or maybe the lights were on when no one was home earlier.
He had the lights on and he was on a charge, and now he's fallen back a bit. He's gone, I'll turn my lights off. It's not working.
I was really hoping he'd be closing in on someone. I haven't been able to use my line yet.
Well, maybe you might still get the chance, because here he comes. Right, trying the outside line.
Trying the inside line, maybe?
Well, last time he nearly drove off the circuit. He was so desperate to get the inside line. But what's he going to do this time?
He does seem to brake quite late into his last corner and has had to bail out a few times. So maybe he's going to go around the outside.
And they seem to brake absolutely together, these two, on that lap.
And again, it's offline there where he's braking for... I tough one, isn't it? Handover. So he's going to lose so much time there. Going offline here, you have to make the moves, but it can cost you quite a bit.
Yeah, and you can see he's dropped back quite a bit now, so Davies looking more secure in that 8th position. Just in front of him, the 2 Pink Panther Racing Astras, Curry and Harold running 6th and 7th.
Richards again 10th faster than Manley that lap, so the gap is not coming down. It's staying about station still, and Richards looks to have it in the back with only 3 laps to go after this. Yeah,
just 3 laps to go. Richards seems to be looking like he's closing in on this race victory in race 2 here. Manley 2nd, Cripps still running 3rd, Ashton 4th, Ben Brown is 5th, and then you've got the 2 Pink Panther Racing cars, and then here, the man we're looking at here, Davies in the Subaru. So it's definitely noticeable that Cripps and Ashton, who went so well in race 1 with the success ballast on, they are now definitely been brought back into the pack a bit.
Yeah, the pace isn't that dissimilar from the 2 leaders. Well, I'll say that. They're at 0.4 off, but they were about similar before, and Cripps and Ashton are actually lapping almost identical lap times.
So you can see Richards in the corner of your screen, and there's Manley now. Bit of a gap developed. Manley's sort of pretty much on his own. He's well clear of Cripps, but he's...
As Davies lose control, it looks like Harold is closing in on Curry as well for trying to take the position off his teammate.
Yeah, so lap 19. We can see that the Pink Panther Racing cars are getting ever closer together, but handover's not done yet. He's switched his lights back on. He seems to have...
He's in
decided he's gone back into attack mode, and he's not done, and he definitely wants to pass the Subaru, who's made a mistake.
I think here Handover will have a lot more momentum coming around this corner and maybe have the inside line. Oh, he's backed out a bit.
Yeah,
strange.
He's backed out a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether Handover can decide whether he wants to attack or whether he...
Possibly he was worried because it looked a bit out of shape. He was worried if he got alongside, he may have got tapped.
Yes, good point. Yeah, it might be that he was thinking that Davies is out of control here. I don't want to get alongside him whilst he's out of control.
Discretion is the better part of valour, and he lives to fight another day, and he's got a couple more laps to make that pass.
He's definitely looking fast here, though. He's trying the outside line again. It's a bit of a characteristic of Handover. He does like these slightly extravagant lines. He's done this all round so far this season. It's very exciting to watch, but it looks like it could go wrong at any moment.
It does, and it has done in practice before, but luckily in the race he seems to keep it relatively all together. He's been involved in a few accidents at the last race, none of which were really majorly his fault, to be honest. It's just, like you say, his extravagant lines sometimes cause people a bit of confusion.
Yeah, definitely a unique style. Davies was very sideways coming out of the chicane there, and the rear-wheel drive Subaru, it looks like it's really worn its rear tyres out now, and he's struggling a bit for traction.
It's not what you'd expect from the rear-wheel drive car for Subaru. You expect to have the tyres on the front-wheel drive cars coming towards the end of the race.
It's just very noticeable, particularly out the chicane, how sideways he is. And here now, Handover having another look. But yes, he's gone to the left because he wants the inside line for this next left-hander. But is he close enough?
He's about alongside there.
Yes, he's got in up the inside here. I think he's got the move done.
Subaru's
but Davies is coming back.
Line.
Davies has got the inside here, and he's maintained the position, so
it's
not
well
done
held
yet.
by Davies there. And with the only rear-wheel drive car on the grid as well, I must admit. So
yeah, a unique proposition. Davies in the Subaru.
2 Pink Panther boys now picture still going at each other to try and have team honours.
Yeah, Curry at the moment has those honours over Harold.
But we know how Curry struggles with his tyres.
And we're on the last lap, so Richard still leading from Manley, Cripps, Ashton, Brown, and Curry and Harold. And Davies here and Handover still battling over that 8th position.
I think Manley's conceded this race to a 2nd position. His times have dropped off quite a bit. I think Richards is going to
bring it home
with this one, yes. As Handover goes around the outside of Davies.
He's got him. He's got the inside into the complex.
Made that look almost way too easy.
Yeah, great move from Handover. Davies is trying to fight back. But no, can't do it. So Handover has got that 8th position.
Things a bit more spread out in this race than they were last time round, but it's still been exciting racing nonetheless all the way through.
Here is Matt Richards then. There's a lapped car in front of him of Colin Talbot. Here he comes then on the last lap. He's heading down to the chicane for the final time. He's got a nice lead over Lewis Manley, Cripps and Ashton 3rd and 4th. So he's coming through the chicane for the final time. So Matt Richards wins race 2 at Thruxton. Race 2 of the day is is his.
Lights as he comes across. He's happy with that.
He'll be very happy. He beats his rival Lewis Manley, finishes in second place. Here comes Jack Ashton.
Oh, what happened there then?
Who looks like he's overtaken Cripps on the last lap. We might have to try and see if we can find what happened.
Yeah, but maybe Cripps made a mistake. They were close, but I didn't think they were that close.
So Ashton from Cripps, Ben Brown finishing fifth.
Into the chicane. Cripps broke far too late again.
Cripps made a big mistake on the last lap, would you believe? And he just gave the place to Jack Ashton there. So I'm sure Ashton will take that. Very uncharacteristic from Callum Cripps there, but ultimately that cost him third place. So Cripps finishes fourth, Ben Brown fifth, Curry and Harold sixth and seventh. Handover gets his eighth place over Davies in the end. Chris Wilson is 10th, Willis 11th, Daniel Hyde 12th, Richardson 13th, Mangera 14th, and Colin Talbot there on your screen.
He's got no tyres left. I don't know how he does it. I spoke to him before the race. He lifts off before he goes in and powers out, but it seems to wear his tyres more than anybody else in this class.
He's limping round to the finish.
But he didn't get lapped, which is...
No, he was close, but he didn't.
So fair play to Colin. He brought it all the way to the end.
So he exits the chicane for the final time and probably relieved that race is over.
Very relieved.
So we will take a short break and then we'll have a quick interview with each of our top three drivers. Right, so we're going to have a quick word with our top three finishing drivers. Here we have Matt Richards joining us, winner of race 2. So congratulations, Matt.
Thank you very much.
A fairly straightforward way for you, that win, do you think?
As soon as we started the race, I knew that I needed to push. As soon as I saw that Callum and Jack were doing quite well.
Turn your microphone on. Yeah, it looked like there was a period in the race where you seemed to, your lap time suddenly dropped as if you suddenly decided, right, I'm going for the win. I'm kind of lowering my pace and going for it.
I was trying to save as much tyre as possible in the first couple of laps. I knew Callum, Jack, Lewis would be pushing. I knew Lewis would be pushing to get in front of him so that he had me behind. I knew those two would be pushing because they want to get away from us. So I just saved the tyres, tried to keep as close to them as possible, and then just put the hammer down.
Yep.
As soon as I saw Jack go off, I thought, now's my chance. I need to get in front of Lewis, and then sort of getting past Callum.
And so the car was a lot better there. You had a lot less success ballast, although still a reasonable amount. But that helped you a lot.
Yeah, the 75 kilos at other tracks can help balance quite a lot.
Yep.
But at Thruxton, it can really upset it. It hurts your tyres. You understeer quite a lot. So having that pressure taken off with the ballast and knowing that the guys in front of me had it was just something that I could deal with and try and push forward. So
of course, you're going to have to deal with that ballast again in the race 3.
Yeah.
So I guess you're just hoping for as good a grid draw as you can get.
I think, to be honest, my plan of attack is just to not attack in the first couple of laps. People are going to make mistakes. People are going to be brash in the first couple of laps trying to make space. So if I can get in front of Lewis off the start and then just control it from there, then we'll just see how it goes.
Okay, good. Well,
no problem at all.
We're looking forward to race 3. It's always the best one of the day.
Yeah, it's always the most entertaining.
Best luck for that.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay, so we will get our second place finisher there, Lewis Manley. So Lewis, second place. An interesting race from your perspective?
Yeah, because my start was much better this time, but I had a very good battle for the leads, and then when the overtakes start to happen, and I got up to second behind Cripps, and then when Richards passed me at the chicane, I thought, fair enough, okay. And then I got him again at the complex corner again. Then after that, coming up to Noble corner, we were side by side again, but the frustrating thing was, when we go through the long right-hander, he did actually clip my car and made me go a little wide, and then Ashton behind me gave me another tap, so I thought, is everyone going to hit me today or what?
There was a bit of nudging going on, definitely, yeah. There was a bit of contact. But overall, I suppose, second place with your... you had a bit more weight on than Richards in that race. So second place, probably realistically not a bad result for you. And I guess you're just hoping to get a good draw in race 3.
Well, exactly. But again, I've lost championship points to the leader because he won the race. So therefore, although he's got to carry the maximum weight this time. So again, we had a great overtakes until he kind of spoilt it a little bit, which I wasn't totally pleased with because I don't seem to have the luck today with people hitting me and stuff. And when I try and go for the pass, then I have to give up the places. But in that second race, because I thought when Jack went off, I thought, surely can't give up the place again. And I thought, what a relief that was. So I was trying to keep with Richards, but then obviously he kept pulling away a bit as he's got less weight, and my tyre started to go off a bit, so I just wanted to coast to the finish, really. So
yeah, I mean, we always see a different dynamic in race 3 because of the reverse grid. It tends to be a bit more varied depending on who gets the luck, who gets the brakes, and if there's any incidents on the first couple of laps. So I guess you just hope to keep it as clean as you can and try and take advantage of any opportunities.
Well, yeah, but that's if everyone doesn't hit me this time, because that's all I'm getting at the minute. Because it seems to be stock car racing the way they're hitting me at the moment. So
last round at Donington, you were really attacked quite badly at the first corner of race 3. I remember you got hit probably 4 or 5 times in one corner. So.
Yeah, clearly, because he even said that he got hit himself, but that was clearly not the case. So because he wouldn't have got a drive-through penalty otherwise. So for race 3, I've got 66 kilos to carry now, and reverse grid's coming up. So therefore, hope it's not too much, and I just don't want anyone else hitting me this time and putting me off, so I need to finish really high again and keep in the championship with Richards. So,
okay, Lewis, well, best of luck for race 3. Hope you can get through and get another good result.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers. So, yes, as we get ready for race 3, we'll see if we can get a word with Jack Ashton, perhaps, if he's loitering around. He didn't expect to be in the top 3, I don't think, until Cripps gave him that place on the last corner. So, bit of a surprise.
It was a surprise. Like, I was just struggling a bit there. Obviously, weight I'm going to blame, but...
Yep. The weight clearly changed the dynamic and the order of the race quite significantly.
Me and Callum both felt the same, so it's shown in the race.
Yep.
Callum ran away with it in the race.
That's what it's designed for.
So, yeah, I think it did make it interesting. It's really hard. I was just happy sitting there because I don't think I've had the pace on Callum. The only place I was a little bit quicker was into the entrance to turn 2, that right, left, right.
The complex,
into the entrance to that, I caught him by about half a second a lap, and then on that Goodwood, that little kink where I went off in the first stage of the race.
Yes, you ran off there, and of course, that if you go off onto the grass there, it's so difficult to get back on the track.
It pulls you away, yeah. I wasn't that quick there, and that's where it's just pulling away, and the gap just kept doing, coming back to itself.
So race 3 then, reverse grid, again, completely different dynamic really, just depending on who can make the best of the first couple of laps and avoid too much carnage.
The reverse grid is really, which
we'll be making the draw shortly.
Sean will be both picking. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so hopefully you can get another good result, another podium.
Yeah, happy with the podium. Like I wasn't really expecting it, but I see. Last 2 laps, Callum, you could see, is really struggling to get it down.
Right.
So I thought, it could be on. And then I went over the line, and it was like 1 lap to go. And we're like, and now I am properly catching him. And I had 32% on my tyres, which everyone's saying I only had about 18, 19.
That's pretty good, 32.
So I remember with the race before, I had about 19. So I thought, that's pretty good time management.
Yeah.
I just go all out, and I used about 10% on that one lap of tyres going for it. And yeah, I didn't think it was going to stick, but obviously you just ran wide into the chicane.
I guess you were coming at him so quickly that you just put him under enough pressure that
I thought he was going to defend the inside. I did think he was going to defend it. That's why I sort of put my nose there. He moved over, so and I glanced to the left, and he left it open, so I went dive bomb.
Thank you very much.
And it worked, yeah.
Nice one. Okay. Best luck for race 3.
Thank you.
So, I think what we're going to do now is have the draw for race 3 for the reverse grid. We'll get Sean King, my guest co-commentator for the day, to do the draw for us. So if you'd like to draw a number out of the sophisticated teacup arrangement, and let us know what you have got. Oh, number 9. Ben Davies will start on pole position. Ollie Davies, sorry, yes, will start on pole position. So that's going to really jumble the grid up. So he's going to let everyone see the number. That is number 9. And that will really jumble the grid up quite a lot. No, it's never a 6. If that case, it's always a 9. And we're going to take a short break then whilst the drivers get ready for the reverse grid race, which will see Ollie Davies start from pole position. No, we'll just say it's a 9 because that's more exciting. That's definitely a 6. No, it's always a 9. You can't draw out a 6. Everyone knows that. It's not possible. There's 2 9s in there.
That's very well done. Whoever did this didn't put lines underneath them, so it's hard to tell which one's which. DJ, ruin everything. DJ's fault.
Are we saying it's not? We're just going to say it's 9. No, we're not. We're going to have a steward's inquiry as to what the number is. I just think it should be 9 because it jumbles up the grid more. From a spectator's perspective, it's always 9. So, yes, official result. It's clearly a 6, so it will be John Curry on pole position. We will just wait. It is been decided to be a 6. Official inquiry is concluded it's a 6. So John Curry on pole position. And we are going to take a short break, and then we will get the drivers ready for the reverse grid race 3. Welcome back to Thruxton for race 3 of the day, the reverse grid race. We have had a slightly chaotic pod draw, but we have decided that it was number 6, not number 9, even though everybody wanted number 9, but it's number 6.
I'm obviously illiterate with numbers.
So that means that John Curry starts on pole position with Ben Brown alongside him on the front row. Callum Cripps is 3rd, Jack Ashton 4th. Manley and Richards, the championship rivals, 5th and 6th. Harold 7th, Handover 8th. Davies 9th, Chris Wilson 10th. Willis 11th. Hyde will start 12th. Richardson 13th. Mangarin 14th. And Colin Talbot will start from 15th position for this one.
So it's a bit of another kick in the teeth, I suppose, for Manley, because he's going to have to work past Cripps and Ashton again to try and make some ground, and his rivals right behind him again on the grid.
Yes, so it's going to be a similar story. Very interesting to see what happens with Curry and Brown on the front row. They're going to be coming under severe pressure from all these real fast guys behind them.
I mean, they both have good pace, but as we know, Curry has good starting pace, and it tends to tail off towards the tail end. So maybe he can be defensive at the start.
I think Ben Brown's actually had quite a good day. I mean, he's been pretty quick and quite consistent, actually.
2 fifth places for Brown. Yeah, it's been very good.
I don't think he's far off these front runners' pace. So I think I predict it'll be quite difficult for them to pass, or more difficult to pass Ben Brown than they think.
I've raced in the Clios with Ben Brown side by side for about 10 laps at the end of Alton Park, and also at Croft, I think it was. And it was extremely good racing with him. He's good at defending, and he's also good at getting a cutback and driving past people. So it won't be as simple as they think to get past him.
Yeah, so there's Colin Talbot, who will be starting at the back. So a bit of a recovery drive for Colin, see if he can work his way as high up the field as possible.
It's the perfect place for Colin. He can race his own race, and anything from here is a positive. He can either break even or he can get better.
Yeah, definitely. I think he'll really be thinking, try and look after the tyres as much as possible, because he's definitely struggled with that on this Thruxton circuit.
Yeah, him especially has struggled with it. So hopefully he'll get a good start, a nice clean start from all the drivers, and we'll have another exciting race to bring to you.
We don't often get a clean start in race 3, but it's definitely exciting. Race 3 always produces some incidents, certainly on the first couple of laps, so they're all moving into position. Talbot takes up his 15th place there, and the drivers are in position and waiting. The revs will rise, and we will wait for the lights and for the noise is what we can't see in lights, but we can hear the countdown noise. The green flag is waving. Revs are up. And they are away, and it's a very good start, I think, by Curry. He has maintained his first position. Ben Brown has also made a good start. They're 5-4 wide in the middle of the pack. Wilson is out wide.
It appears Collins hung back a little bit to see if how things shake out for the first couple of corners.
Very sensible idea. Look at Harold. He's lunged. He's made contact with Richards.
He's taken out Manley.
He's completely taken Manley out. And that was very outrageous
more
by
contact
Harold.
there between, I think that was Ashton and Willis.
Ashton and Willis getting together. There's Cripps. He's in 3rd. So it's Curry and Brown, and then Cripps. Then Richards and Willis, who made contact with Ashton. Is Ashton still there?
Ashton is still here. He's left down in 6th.
Yeah, Ashton is 6th. So, but poor old Lewis Manley just got absolutely wiped out there
completely cleaned out there
by Harold, unfortunately.
I'm not 100% sure what Harold was thinking. I don't know if he just broke a little bit too late, and I think he tagged Richards on the way in, or Willis on the way in.
Yeah, it looked like he just arrived out of control when he was on the grass or something.
He definitely wasn't in control of the car at the time. I'm sure he'll be regretting that move.
And it does just seem that Lewis Manley is not having much luck at the start of these race 3s. A very similar thing happened to him at Donington Park.
As we said earlier, Ben Brown is a bit slower than Cripps, but he's proving hard to get past.
Yeah, so Curry leads. Ben Brown there, Cripps, then Richards. A little bit of a gap developed to Willis in 5th, and then Jack Ashton running 6th. Davies in the Subaru is 7th, and then Harold is 8th. Here's a replay then of the start. Here we are watching Harold.
The gap seems to get smaller and smaller.
He gets contact with Richards, gets a bit of grass. That really, he was out of control there at this point, and he just slams straight into the side of Manley.
Can't really defend much in that one. It was a case of the gap was getting ever smaller. He went for it, and he caused quite a big incident.
And just a shame that he took Manley out like
Brown
that.
seems to have dropped down to 5th. I wonder what happened there.
So yeah, while watching that replay, it looks like Ben Brown has lost 3 places and he's dropped down to 5th position.
So we've got Cripps running in second now, chasing down for the lead with Richards and I believe that's his teammate Willis behind him. That's a good start for Willis.
Curry is on the grass out of Church. He's probably lost a bit of momentum now. Cripps is all over the back of him.
In the background, Brown was on the grass too. Might lose a position to Ashton.
Curry going defensive. Looking very good for Richards this, you'd have to say, with Manley down in 14th at the moment. But where can Manley get to? Here comes Cripps. He's having a look on the inside.
Oh.
A lot of shouting inside the venue. Things are happening further down. It looks like Manley's had another problem. And here comes, they're 3 wide coming in here. Cripps is in front of, he's got the lead from Curry. And Richards is having a look. Definitely something, though, further back has happened to Manley at the chicane. We will try and bring you that replay when we can.
I believe something has happened. He's been stuck in the barrier.
So Cripps has got the lead from Curry. Richards is 3rd. And then
all over
Willis
the back
4th.
of him.
Here's a replay then of the chicane. Here's Manley. He's on the inside.
Oh, no.
Hyde makes contact with the rear of him and sends Manley into the barrier. And then he sort of gets stuck on an invisible barrier.
It's unfortunate. The graphics, the physics may have failed a little bit there in the mod. I feel for Manley. I really do.
Has really cost Manley quite dearly. He is 15th. Is he still running? We think he may have retired. That could be the end of Manley's race after that.
Oh.
Curry's all over the grass at the chicane. Richards has got through.
If it was a nudge, we hear it might have been a nudge, so he might have to give that place back. We'll have to find out what race direction think of that one.
Yeah, we'll see what they make of it. So Cripps is in the lead. This is all helping Cripps to get away, but now Richards is into 2nd place for the time being. John Curry 3rd, Ben Willis is 4th, and Ashton in 5th.
Curry goes a little bit deep there. Managed to pull it back. Willis all over the back of him now as well.
Lewis Manley has got going, so he is still running in this race, but he's a long, long way behind. He's lost, 10 seconds on that lap?
14 seconds on that lap, he's got a 14-second gap back to Talbot in 14th.
It's a long, long way back for him from there, but we'll see. Lap 4:21. At least it's happened early in the race, I suppose.
Well, better to ruin it earlier than later on when you've been having a good race for everybody, but I do feel for Manley. He's a good driver, and no one would have wanted that.
He's definitely not had much luck at all, particularly in these race 3. So, John Curry here defending furiously from Willis. Willis is going to try and attack into the chicane.
Willis is looking really racy here.
Curry's locking up massively. There's some contact there.
And he's going to lose that place to Ashton now.
Yep, that's cost Willis. He's cut the chicane and he's lost a couple of places. He's lost a place to Ashton, and Ben Brown looks like he might be able to get past Willis as well.
Pushing him all the way through.
Ben Brown, yep, definitely having a look.
And there's
Harold.
Oh, no.
Harold's moved across on Ben Brown there.
Oh.
And
that's terrible. That is all down to one person moving across, and it's taken out 3 drivers. It's not what you want to see.
Harold moved across on Ben Brown. I don't know whether he didn't know he was there or wasn't where it was going on, but that as a result, it looks like they took out Ashton. Was it in front of the hit? But
yeah, Ashton was when they took out as well. It was just a passenger in the entire thing. Had no idea what was going on.
As a result, Harold's actually got into 5th place. I think that'll be quickly removed.
That'll be quickly removed. Yes, I'm sure there'll be a penalty coming his way.
So there's Ashton, and he's got Davies in the Subaru just behind him, and then there's Handover, and Brown, who's lost a few positions as a result of that.
Richards is right on the back of Cripps now as well. He's caught right up to him.
Yeah, Richards is right on the back of Callum Cripps as they enter the chicane on lap 5. There's John Curry still running 3rd.
Richards obviously sensing a big chance here to pull out a major gap at the front of his championship with all the unfortunate events for Manley.
Yeah, this is a big chance for Richards. They were just thinking, right, I'm going to win this one, and then I'm going to take a commanding lead potentially. But Cripps on for trying to get his 2nd win of the day.
Yeah, same for Richards as well, though. He wants his 2nd win of the day. So it's a fight for overall honours of the day. The
2 star men so far are at the front. John Curry still there in 3rd. Willis 4th.
Race 3 is definitely delivered. It's usually what we expect all the action to happen, and unfortunately it's not the action we wanted, but we've still got some good racing going on, and I think this one's going to go all the way to the end of the race between Richards and Cripps.
Yes, I expect it'll be a race-long battle between these two.
As you can see in our smaller picture, we've also got Jack Ashton with Ollie Davies in that Subaru, filling in for Ben Winter.
Oh, look at Handover sideways going into Church Corner. He's all over the place there. And as they come through the chicane, then Richards now getting ever closer to the back of Callum Cripps.
Ashton and Davies alongside each other in the chicane. Ashton holds him off just about.
Yeah, so Davies looking really racy in the Subaru at this stage.
Seems to have got better each race, Davies has. He's had no pace in the first race, but now he's learned the track, he seems to be all over it.
Yeah, he's been getting quicker. Yeah, you're right, all the time, and he looks like he's pretty keen to find a way past Jack Ashton. Cripps still defending from Richards.
Yeah, Richards 0.3 of a second faster that time than Cripps, so he's under the pressure, quite a bit of pressure as well.
Yeah, so third race distance, lap 7. Cripps trying to maintain that lead. He really burnt his tyres out quite badly, Cripps did in race 2. That was one of the reasons he went off at the chicane at the end, apparently.
Yeah, speaking to Ashton as well, he had about 34% going into the last lap and used it down to 22% in one lap, just trying to catch him and get past him, which he eventually did.
It's almost like Ashton over-protected his tyres in race 2, actually.
It worked out the best for him, though, so never know, it may work here. Ooh.
Richards trying on the outside line. Can he do that move again? He can. It looks like he's got the inside. There's contact.
No. Oh, he's let him have that one back. That's very good of Richards.
But it looked like he was going to pull that move again that he did in race 2.
It looked very
on
similar.
Manly. Yeah, where he just kept it around the outside and just nipped the inside for the second part of the chicane.
That's why I said it was one of the best moves I've seen in that last race. I've never seen anyone manage to make that stick. And
no.
He must have got it perfect last race.
It was brilliant, a brilliant move. But yeah, he tried it again then. It didn't seem to quite work. I don't think he got quite as far alongside Cripps as he did when he overtook Manly in race 2.
I can see that Harold has got through on Willis in the background as well.
Yeah, Harold still there in 4th place. I'm expecting a penalty at any moment for Harold, to be honest. Willis is on the grass coming out of there, and that's allowed Ashton.
Got through, yeah.
Ashton back into 4th place in front of Harold. Davies then 6th, and then Handover just behind them, and then Willis has dropped to the back of this group down to 8th.
Yeah, it looked like he was on the grass a little bit coming out one of those corners. Bit of a coming together. I think it was with a Handover at the time, and it's allowed all these cars through.
So yeah, Ashton at the head of this group. He's got Harold still there. No word yet on whether Harold is going to get a penalty, but I'm fairly sure that would be forthcoming, but we'll see.
Ashton's been extremely defensive into that corner. Wasn't giving anything away there to Harold.
No, he's absolutely keeping the door firmly shut.
Oh, and Richards is through into 1st.
Richards has passed Callum Cripps, and he's got the lead for the first time. Cripps is trying to fight back as they head up to the complex. He's trying the outside.
Oh, he's
gone very
too much
deep.
there.
Yeah, I think he outbraked himself a little bit. He's gone very deep, cost him a bit of time, and John Curry is still there, you know, in 3rd place.
Yeah, maybe he's learned from his tyre woes and is possibly going to get back into this race.
Yeah, so not far behind at all, John Curry. Then a bit of a gap back to the next group, which is headed by Jack Ashton, just in front of Harold and Davies, and then Handover and Willis. And then Ben Brown just in the background, running in 9th place.
So interestingly, just looking at the lap times, Richards and Curry had very similar lap times. Cripps was 0.8 of a second slower that lap. Obviously with the late break-in and going quite deep into corners, but Curry's definitely got the pace to make this a good race for him, maybe even a 2nd or a 1st. Yeah,
he still seems to be able to run this pace at the moment, you're right. So we will see. Here, Harold is still attacking Ashton in the corner of your screen into the chicane, but Ashton again fends him off.
Thought Harold had that one done. He was in front of him going around the outside. Oh, he's going to the pits. Drive through.
So the inevitable drive through for probably the various incidents he's been involved in so far. So that will knock him probably down towards the back of the field. So that will leave Ashton with Davies 5th, Handover now 6th, Willis 7th, and Ben Brown 8th. Richards still managing to just fend off Cripps at the moment.
Davies under a lot of pressure from Handover, and Handover likewise under a lot of pressure from Willis.
Yeah, real group developed there. And Curry maybe just dropping slightly off the back of these two now.
He appears to be. I'm hoping it's not the tyre woes already, because we're halfway through the race, and that's about when it usually happens for him. Maybe he pushed a little bit too hard at the start to try and keep up with these guys.
It's just so hard, I guess, to kind of, when you're excited and you're in the heat of a battle, the tyre wear thing just goes out the window.
I mean, he was the fastest out of the top three.
The general thought seems to be, yeah, that Curry is has quite hard style on the tyres anyway.
Hand over around the outside maybe here of Davies. Oh, thinks better of it. Yeah, as Mark was saying, he is very aggressive on the wheel and tends to wear the tyres quite fast.
So Cripps not given up on this at all. He is very, very close to the back of Richards again as they head up to the complex on lap 11. He's having a little bit of a look. He's got the inside. Richards left him a bit of space. Richards has got the inside.
And then Cripps has got the inside for the next turn as well.
Cripps has got this done, I think. But can Richards get a good exit?
Maybe Richards is happy to sit behind him for now.
Yeah, so great move there by Callum Cripps. He just got his nose up the inside there. Richards gave him a space as he had to. And that's allowed Cripps to take the lead again. So, and Curry again has closed in a bit because they're battling. So good news for him.
Yeah, it was interesting to see Curry drop back because he was the fastest out of the top three drivers the lap before. I think he just made a slight error coming into the next lap, and that's what made him drop back. So he's still got the pace.
Yeah, we can see Richards definitely still has the pace. He is in the slipstream of Cripps as they head down to the chicane.
And Willis pulls out alongside Davies as well.
Cripps manages to hold a tight enough line. No way through for Richards there. Across the start-finish line to start lap 12.
So for the top three, we've got two MGs and a Vauxhall Astra. John Curry representing the Astras, and then again Jack Ashton behind them in fourth. Hasn't lost any positions overall in the race, but seems to be a bit lonely.
He's a bit on his own, yes. He's got a bit of a gap. Handover's now got into fifth. Look, he's passed the Subaru of Davies, so Handover now up to fifth place.
Apologies for missing that one, and he's going to set off now after Jack Ashton by the looks of it.
Yeah, so Handover, then Davies, and then Willis in the Subaru. Ben Brown 8th, Chris Wilson is 9th. Harold, after his drive-through, is in 10th position. So, yeah, Handover, not that far behind Jack Ashton, actually.
No, it's definitely doable, especially with this much left in the race.
Yep. And once again, these front two just slightly breaking away from John Curry in third position.
I wonder if that tyre wear is going to be involved. I don't like to keep mentioning it, but John himself, every race, he keeps telling me that he can't keep it under control. He's trying his best, but it just seems to be something extra these front guys have.
Yep, they seem to be able to not only do these brilliant lap times, but also maintain those tyres and maintain their level of racecraft to... that's why we consistently see these guys at the front, even in reverse grid races. You know, it seems to be the top guys always fight their way through. So Richards, as you said earlier, is going to be looking for a big haul of championship points here with Manley out of the race and down in 15th. So Handover, I think, is getting a bit closer to Jack Ashton in the corner of your screen there. It looks like Handover's looking racy again. He's got his headlights on again.
Yeah, attack mode has begun.
But Jack Ashton also has his headlights on, so I don't know who he's attacking, just in general.
Generally attacking the track. It's a time trial, time attack as you'd call it.
But yeah, at the moment it looks like Handover has got the pace. Ashton's on the grass coming out of Church Corner. He seems to do that a lot. It seems to almost be his line.
He says he struggles with this Astra. He's not used to the way it handles.
So Handover having a little bit of a look through the chicane, seeing what sort of exit he can get here.
He lost a bit there because he went a bit wide going through the second part of the chicane and couldn't get the drive out of the corner and let Ashton off a little bit there.
Yep, so Ashton just maintaining the gap. Davies there in the Subaru is certainly pretty close as well.
Yeah, he's not giving up on this. He's representing the rear-wheel drive contingency around the world.
Yep. And Willis in the red and black MG at the back of that group is also jumping over the curbs and pushing very hard.
Very strong race for Willis. I haven't mentioned him too much throughout this entire race at Thruxton, but he's been in the mid-pack and he's had good race pace, so hopefully he can bring home some more points in this last race.
Yep, definitely. A strong performance from him today. Ashton taking a huge amount of grass on the inside there. And
and
he's
the
off.
outside as well, yes.
So he got the line completely wrong, it looked like to me. He hit the grass on the inside and then that actually threw him off to the outside.
He's still not back on. He's just got back on the track.
A terrible part of the track to go off there.
Yeah,
it's so hard
you cannot pull it back onto a track. You have to lift off. But if you lift off too much, you get lift off oversteer. So you've got to be really cautious.
So Ashton, unfortunately, down to 7th place as a result. So that promotes Handover to 4th now.
And Cripps is in the lead.
Cripps has got back into the lead.
Keep missing this.
We're trying to look at 2 places at once, but Cripps has done it. So he's not done. He's not done with yet. And Richards, him and Richards pulling away a little bit from John Curry, I think now. It's becoming a two-man fight at the front.
I think Curry's lap time pace seems to be very similar, but he just keeps making these slight errors every now and again, which is allowing him just to eke away from him each lap.
Yeah, just struggling to maintain this ultimate pace, I think, of the front runners.
But it's looking good for him. We've only got about 6 laps left after this one, and he's still got decent enough pace, so he should be able to hold on to his podium spot if Handover doesn't attack. Yeah, well, Handover is in attack mode, but he's got a bit of a gap to cross to get there. But he'll certainly be giving it everything he's got. We know from experience he certainly won't give it up without a fight. Definitely not. So Richards then, stalking Callum Cripps once again. Curry in 3rd, Handover 4th. Davies in that Subaru in 5th. It looks like under pressure from Willis in the background. Ashton in 7th after that off-track excursion. Here comes Richards again. No, trying the outside, but I don't think Callum's going to let him have that. So who's your money on then? Cripps or Richards? I don't like to put the money on, but I definitely would say Richards. He's got the experience. He's already passed and gapped Manley in race 2. And I think in race 1 he probably would have had more with him as well, with all the ballast that he had on and Cripps didn't have. I would definitely go for him, especially since last race we saw Cripps going out wide on the last corner, which allowed Ashton through. Yeah, we've seen maybe Cripps a bit more prone to small errors. But, and of course, this will have a big effect on who wins this round overall, because both these drivers have won a race so far today. Yep, whoever wins takes it all. What about you? Who do you think it's going to be? I'm going to say Cripps, only because you said Richards, and therefore we're balanced. Yeah, we are impartial. You gave me the first choice. It's always the best thing, isn't it? We are impartial. There's no favourites here. Everyone's a winner. And, yeah, we just want to see a great race. And I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get it from these two for definite, especially the mid-pack. We're also seeing some quite close races here. Davies defending really hard from Willis. He's done really well. Yeah, Willis is closed up onto the back of the Subaru, quite noticeably as they head down to the chicane. It seems like he's got all the pace in the world, but just can't get it through the corners. Maybe just get a better exit from the corner from the Subaru. Yeah, he will see here. He comes through. It seems that the videos prove that now. He's just gapped him straight out of that corner. Yeah. Yeah, so the Subaru traction out of the chicane seems to be a real advantage. He's definitely got to grips with it now. And he actually looks like he's sort of holding station with Handover, maybe even closing in a little bit. The race isn't done between those two, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, the times are so tight, aren't they? Up and down the field, really. There's extremely tight. Hardly anything. It's only a couple of tenths between, basically, 3rd and 8th last lap. There was about 2 tenths between all their lap times. That's how close it really is. So Cripps maybe now he's pulled a slight. That's probably one of the biggest gaps there's been in this race at the front. I'm sure Richards won't be too worried. He's still, at that sort of position, you've still got a tiny bit of slipstream. It allows you to gain a bit of extra time down that back straight. Yeah, just enough so that you can just stay in contact. Lap 17, so we're coming down to the crunch now, just a few laps to go. Bit of grass there for Callum, won't have affected him too much. So you'll just want to try and get as much a gap as possible. Who's looked after their tyres the best? That one's a bit of an anomaly. Daniel Hyde, fastest lap with a 1:13.895. I'm thinking he might have cut the chicane. Yes, that's very suspect. I don't like to say that I don't believe Hyde could have done a lap that quickly, but that is a ridiculously quick lap for a race pace. Again, he is in 14th, and maybe he came in for extra tyres. Yeah, it's a possibility. But anyway, in any case, at the moment, that's... Ah, yes, no, it looks like he's put the soft tyre on.
So Height has put the soft tyre on and smashed in a 1:13.895.
He wants
quite
that
sure.
fastest lap for definite.
Not quite sure why he wants that so much, but anyway, he's got it. So, meanwhile, the guys on the medium tyre, on the race tyre at the front here, still continuing to push on. Lap 18, Cripps still leading from Richards. Curry has fallen back quite a bit. Handover is getting closer, ever closer to the back of Curry's Pink Panther Racing Astra. And he's bringing Ollie Davies in the Subaru with him.
I wanted to say it, but I'm not going to. It's too cringy. I can't say it. Handover is definitely catching.
Handover is definitely closing in rapidly. That's all I'm going to say. And they're down to the chicane again. A lot of smoke from Curry going into the chicane
Right
every
on
lap.
the back, and Davies has got a good exit as well. Of course, it'll be great for Davies to get a podium with that rear-wheel drive Subaru. We all have seen it.
Definitely, yeah. The variety on the grid, and your main screen, Richards is getting closer again to Cripps on lap 19.
Still got a few laps to sort this all out.
It's coming down to the crunch, you can tell.
As Richards saved up a bit of extra tyres over the last couple of laps to try and attack on the last part of the race.
Richards, he's a wily old fox. Well, he's not that old, but he's wily.
He's wily for his age, for definite. He knows what he's doing.
He seems to have the correct approach. He seems to have parts of the race where he just pauses, considers, regroups, and then push at the right time. And that seems to be what's happening now. The push is on lap 19.
It's almost like an endurance race for him. He's conserving his tyres, making sure they're good. So he's got that overall race pace.
Look at the speed he carried through Church. He's all over the back of Cripps now. He's got alongside. Now who's going to brake latest for the chicane? Rubbing almost. He's got in front. Can he outbrake Callum Cripps? He can't, I don't think.
He's alongside him though. Oh, contact.
Well, yeah, no, Cripps braked very late and he defended it well. And also, look, you can see that Handover and he's all over the back of Curry with Davies there as well.
I feel like I've seen that picture before.
So Cripps just about clinging on. He's got 2 laps to go to fend off the charging Matt Richards.
Oh, he's gone a bit wide into there.
He's left the door open, but he's got the inside here.
But he will carry the speed, Richards, and he's going to get a nice run through these set of corners.
Richards, yeah, he should get great momentum out of here.
And Handover's right on the back of Curry now.
Yes, Handover is swarming all over the back of Curry now.
Jinking left and right to try and find an overtake.
Richards carrying as much speed as he dares through here onto the back straight fast section of the circuit here. Right in the slipstream of Callum Cripps.
We've got an amazing battle here for first place and an amazing battle for third. What more
He's
could
trying to
you
go
ask
on the
for?
outside at Church. That can't be done. No, things better of it.
That is definitely impossible.
You definitely can't pass on the outside of Church corner.
Defies physics.
And look at Handover. He's having a go on John Curry as well.
And
there's
Davies take advantage of it.
Cripps defends from Richards into the chicane as they exit to start the last lap.
Handover went round the outside of the into chicane. That
Great
is a
move.
Great move. And Davies is coming down the inside. He's on the grass. Curry's on the grass.
Curry's on the grass. Davies has got past now. So once Handover got through, it looked like that cost Curry a bit, and he's lost a couple of places. Now he's got
Jack Ashton.
Jack Ashton all over the back of him.
Oh, contact again between the two leaders.
Ashton's through.
Final lap of the race, remember? It's for the overall honours of the day.
This is it, yeah. This is going to come down to the crunch, and Richards is going for the inside again.
He's alongside. He has to give racing room.
Little bit of a rub. He's trying to hang it around the outside and get the inside here. He can't do it. Now it's all about the run.
And the slipstream down to the last corners.
Out of here, through Church Corner, down to the chicane. This is where it comes to the crunch.
Well, hopefully it won't come to a crunch.
Ashton's gone off again in the background, so that's really him done. Handover is third.
And Davies is pushing for Handover.
Can Davies get the Subaru on the podium? Look at Handover's defending. He's on the...
Richards right. He can't make this. He surely
Richards
can't
is trying.
make this.
There's a gap not there.
He had to back out of that, otherwise he would have punted him off.
He's trying to undercut more
him.
Contact, but Callum
Davies
Cripps has judged
round
his
the outside.
perfection.
Davies has gone round the outside.
Davies has got past Handover
He's got
at the
a podium.
chicane. Davies gets third place, so Cripps wins it.
What an incredible
Richards is
finish.
second, and Davies in the Subaru gets third over Handover at the very final chicane. Curry ended up 5th, Ashton was 6th, Brown 7th, Willis 8th, Wilson 9th, Harold finishes in 10th place after his penalty. What an exciting end to that race, and an exciting end to the day here at Simply Race.
Yeah, it's like calm before the storm, and it all came to head in that last lap. Some great racing from all involved, some great overtakes, great battles, mind games going on. What more could you ask for?
Brilliant race at the front between Cripps and Richards. Firm, clean, incredibly close, exciting race. Little bit of contact through the chicane at the end, but just a little bit here and there. That's touring cars. And ultimately, a brilliant win for Callum Cripps. And Davies on the Subaru, a fantastic result for him to get that 3rd place, first podium for the Subaru.
No. Colin pulls into the pits on the last lap and gives up a place. Strangely.
Not quite sure whether he had a drive-through or something, and he had to take it.
Maybe. It's a strange place to do it, though.
Yeah, I'd have definitely just crossed the line and argued it later.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will take a short break after that, and we'll go to the podium presentation and see if we can get a word with the top 3 drivers in a few minutes. Right, I've got our race winner, hard-fought race win for Callum Cripps. Very exciting. That was Callum at the end. How did you manage to hang on?
I don't know, to be honest. I didn't even see my tyres at the end, but I'm sure Matt's were worse because he had all the weight as well, which is even more impressive. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, it's obviously like the start was a bit hectic, and I can't even remember what happened, to be honest, how I got into the lead. I can't remember, but
yeah, there was so much going on that race. We can't remember.
Yeah, Lewis got hit off. I saw in my mirrors, unfortunately. So unfortunate for him. I'm not sure what happened to him, but yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah,
because Ashton got hit off as well, so he was way down and he didn't recover either. So, but he kept a cool head nonetheless. So yeah, but me and Matt, obviously, like he's top sim racer, so to beat him's quite good. It gives my Radicals team a good name.
It was a tremendously exciting battle between the two of you. Very firm, very clean. There was a little bit of contact at times, but just a bit of touring car contact, nothing more than that.
Yeah. So yeah, there was one time where I got quite sideways, wasn't it? Because I was expecting him to back out a tiny bit more than what he did, but it's fair enough. Kept it pinned, so it was all right. If I was in a rear-wheel drive car, that would have been it, but it's just as well I went front-wheel drive.
A very successful day for you in your wildcard appearance. 2 wins.
Yeah,
got to be pleased with that.
Especially when I only chose to come down here an hour before it started. I was just like, you know what, I'm not doing anything at home, so I might as well go down and do that. So yeah, it was a good outcome, and it's like my second ever touring car event win. Yeah. So out of the many have been. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, brilliant, well done, and go and get your trophy.
I will. Okay.
So yeah, we'll get Matt Richards in. Tremendously exciting race, Matt. Brilliant racing between you and Callum. In the end, he just managed to hang on, I think.
Yeah, just about. I was throwing everything that I had in the book at him, honestly. But that was really good, exciting racing. Minimal contact and just giving each other respect where it's needed. Yeah.
So, I mean, you got in the lead a few times, and then he got past you, and there was a little bit of contact, but nothing out of the ordinary, really. And he looked like you were trying everything you could on the last lap, but...
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was throwing the car in places where I didn't think I could even throw it, and the tyres were absolutely screaming. So Dunlop, I'm sorry, or whichever brand we're using. Yeah, I mean, there was one moment where I thought I had it round the outside into the chicane. A little bit close, but at the end of the day, we came home with a position. Points is all I really care about at the moment.
Yeah, of course. For the championship, you've had another great weekend. And Lewis having a problem in that race really puts you in probably a very strong position now in the championship.
I think so. I don't know what happened. I saw cars flying everywhere in lap 1, and I just tried to push on from there and put it out of my mind where he was, and then I heard some sort of commotion. I turned around and he was walking away, so I don't really know what happened. I'll have to look back at the stream and see it.
You'll watch it all back, and I'm sure it'll be talked about for a while to come yet. But next round, Croft. So
really
good circuit for you.
it. I mean, I attended Croft last season, came away with the overall win last season. I seem to be in a bit of a pattern because every time I've come here, I've either gone runner-up or overall win.
Yep.
And it's always in the pattern that if I get an overall win, my next one's a runner-up, and then I mean. So hopefully, if I'm runner-up today, then...
So you're saying not winning today is actually a good thing because you mean you're winning
possibly.
So interesting way of looking at it.
Possibly, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you at Croft. And
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on.
Cheers.
Thanks for some great racing. Cheers. I think we're going to try and get a word with Ollie Davies. Here he is. Here is the man who's given the Subaru its first podium. Long time coming, but he's done it. So snatched it right at the end there.
Yeah, that was a good race, that one, from P9 on the grid. So to take a podium, especially on the last corner as well, like that just made it even better.
Yeah, so you're running the only rear-wheel drive car on the grid. So do you find, is that noticeable that you have an advantage in some parts of the track to the front-wheel drive cars?
The main difference really is at the end of the race. That's where I start gaining time on other people. Qualifying's not so good, but yeah, at the end of the race and at the start it's not so bad, but at the end I gain quite a bit on the other people.
Because the car's a bit kinder on its tyres, it wears a bit more evenly.
Yeah.
Your first podium, do you think you can push on from here and be a bit more, have some more podiums next round?
I don't know if I'm racing in the next one because I'm only like a replacement for Ben Winter. So
you're super sub.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'll be there, but if I am, I'll keep trying.
Yeah, we hope to see you again at some point in the championship, if not as super sub, but maybe as your own entry.
Hopefully, yeah.
And
next year then.
Congratulations and thanks for getting that Subaru on the podium at last.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers. Right, we will now have a very short break before we join the podium presentation. Okay, right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to our drivers for today. Some great racing again around this very exciting Thruxton circuit race. So the total points in the end, we had in third position one of our wild card drivers for the event. In third place with 42 points is Jack Ashton. In second place overall, one of the drivers who's is proving to be the class of the field in this championship so far. Second place, points, Matt Richards. And our winner today with 53 points, 2 race victories and a very impressive return to the championship after some time away. Give a big round of applause for Callum Cripps. I don't have fastest lap, I'm afraid. DJ will tell you who fastest lap was. So thanks to all our drivers. Fastest lap was Hyde. Yes, it was, yeah, on the softs. Yes. Thanks to all our drivers for another great event. We look forward to seeing you all again at Croft for more of the same. Thanks for watching.